everyone. Tonight is episode 53 of A Girl, a Guy, and a Movie. And this is a very special episode. One of our friends suggested, with a little bit of financial incentive, that we should watch this movie, Hamburger the Motion Picture. He didn't. Now, before I go any further, it wasn't a huge amount of money, okay? It was a small super chat, and I was, so don't be throwing hundreds and $500 bills at me, okay? Please. Save the money. You're going to need it for ammunition and all the bad shit getting ready to happen. But I'm just going to tell you that Janet and I watched this film, and I wanted to bring Flady in because I'm sure he has some alternate takes and stories about this. We're going to critique this movie, but we love I enjoyed my time with this film a lot. I'm just going to say that. Janet, how are you tonight?
I'm good.
I didn't mean to cut you off. You're like, I'm sorry I was late, and then I'm hitting the live button, and it takes like 3, 2. I'm sorry I'm late, and it starts the silly music.
Oh,
sorry about that. Then we have Mr. Flady, who's down here with us, and please don't make any comments about the fact that he's using the standard OBS because that's what you do when you first start this thing. He doesn't even have a channel yet. It's coming. I'm sure it's coming.
I'm working on it.
Now, Janet, you look like you are in cosplay for a Leslie Scarborough or Leslie Huntley.
Except my name says Janet.
I know.
Yeah. I figured I would either be dressed up as one of the cookers, and my hair's not blonde. I'd have to wear that blonde wig. To be the lady, that was hitting on him while she was going to make his hamburger for him, his bull burger or whatever. So it was either that or the sexy counselor wanting to find out why he couldn't get a good grade because he never in class because he was having sex all the time. Because I couldn't do the shower scene. So
no. Although I would think that we could probably buy you a very hunky male blow-up doll and have you like rig him to be in front so we don't get any nipple slip for YouTube. But we could have like Janet in the rig with their male blow-up doll, and she could carry it around.
Oh, there's plenty of girls you guys can watch online.
I know, but I was just thinking like
hot nudes and all that stuff. I just pretend. I'll just pretend for your show.
I know there's plenty of like bikinis out there that we could cover up with a male inflatable doll. I could.
Hopefully, it wouldn't get a hole in it.
This movie comes
I don't
out
have any. I only have pierced ears. So I don't have to worry about any other piercings that might, pop up or something.
True. Lady, did you see this movie in theaters when it came out?
No. Pretty sure this was R, and I was probably still in grade school when it came out.
Okay.
Yes, it was definitely R-rated.
Yeah, definitely an R-rated scene. Like the first 2 minutes of the movie are pretty family friendly. It's like a love letter to cholesterol and grease-fried foods. And I'm trying to get a photograph for this as I'm watching this movie, and 2 minutes, 1 second hits, and like it's a shower scene. I'm like, well, fuck. So if you were looking at my YouTube over the weekend, my community tab, there's a photo of all my miniatures on the desk of shame, and that's why, because I couldn't pan the camera up.
Well, all I can say is that I've been in many showers, in locker room showers with lots of women, and I've never walked along and had all the showers curtains pulled open.
I noticed that.
So I thought that was pretty interesting. And all the girls were, all steamy and, wet and soapy, but their hair and their makeup was perfect. That was funny. But it was, I could see why that was in there. It was to, have all the guys' tongues wagging before the movie started. So if the rest of it sucked, it wouldn't matter, right? You just keep rewinding, go back to the boobs.
Just go back to the start and enjoy that. I like the first scene with the Sarah Palin impersonated Leslie Scarborough, Leslie Huntley character. I'm sorry, she's yeah.
Yeah,
I
she
don't
was
know why.
smoking. I thought she was good, very good looking, very attractive.
Like,
Especially when she started untying her thing. You know, I was like, "You naughty boy, you gonna show me something?" Well,
that
shit.
actually happened.
It was
That's
good.
the part of it. I thought it was a dream sequence.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I told you. I said, I think he's dreaming. I don't think this is real until the door opened and the dean or whoever it was out there. So
Yeah, that has a tendency to stop your college career when you're plowing a high up individual there that has a certain reputation, and they need to preserve that. They boot you out, and then it shows a shower scene, and then the boy gets beat up by mom and dad for being an idiot. Don't get caught.
yeah, that was funny. The fact that they had plastic on the couch. That reminded me of my aunt's house. She had plastic like that. I mean, you could have some real fun on it if you had olive oil or coconut oil or something on a couch like that.
Avocado oil.
What did you think about the shower scene, Flady?
Trying to remember. I gotta agree with Six Nations. This was, I think, me and a buddy. I want to say like 8th grade. Got it at the local video store on a Friday, and his dad would let us pretty much get anything as long as it wasn't too ridiculous. And I remember his mom coming out of the kitchen going, "What are you guys watching?" And then his older sister, she was like 10 years older. She could have been in the movie. I remember her coming down the stairs at, the shower scene. She's like, "You two again? Like, Jesus, is this every movie you watch?" I'm like, "I think you just wait until this scene comes on for you to come down the steps." Because literally like 4 times previously, we were watching some cheesy late 70s, early 80s B movie where, just the ridiculous person's on the screen topless and she's just coming down the stairs.
Yeah, I had never seen this movie, and now I know why, because it's not really for, gals, I don't think. This is more of a guy's movie. So, I can see why somebody want to see it.
If somebody super chats us and says, "Bruce, I want you to review What Women Want," or "This Daniel Steele made for TV Hallmark film," okay, fine. I'll do it. I can be bought. But I'm just saying that those require a push, or Janet. It has to be Janet's turn to pick. If Janet picks it,
I've already got my movie choice picked for when it's my turn again.
That would be next week, so we will reveal that at the end of this show.
Well, I thought we had 2 other movies that were picked.
Actually, let me hold on. I'll show you what I've done here. I'll absorb them on mine because they're pretty as far as like I'm concerned.
I haven't seen them. That's why I would like to, like this one. You and I got to watch it together. We invited everyone, so everybody in the chat. We try to watch the movies on Discord. And you guys can come watch them with us if you want. I mean, we were laughing. It was just really funny. It was a really good movie. But, might as well come and watch a movie with us. That way to help freshen your memory, and you can talk about it more in the chat.
All right. This is my current setup for broadcasts over the next 6 weeks. So tonight we're doing this. And then May 22nd, we're doing the Family Guy Star Wars trilogy.
Okay.
And we'll be discussing that with, I believe, Mac Thompson. I'll have to go back and check and make sure. But that was one that was paid for. And this one here is a suggestion. So if somebody pays us, we'll push this one back. But Demon Hunters, Dead Camper Lake, it's a cheesy flick by Dead Gentleman Productions, people that I've met before. They're nice people. They're Seattleites, but they're nice people. But those are I'll take those on mine, and that way we can still absorb Janet. Janet usually, and I'm not trying to say anything negative about Janet. Also, don't take it as negative, but Janet classes up this channel quite a bit. That's
even when I dress trampy.
I don't think you're trampy.
Well, if I wore what I have on right now with these, let me back up a little bit, because I got these lights and I need to shorten them and sew them to this because they're dangly. And when I roll my chair back, I'm trying to get my leg up on my desk. But look, see my shoes? They're high heel tennis shoes. I just wanted everybody to see them with my fishnet stockings that I'm wearing.
I'm sure somebody's going to clip that.
So, but they're really comfortable. And I really like them, and they're really mine. So I do wear these. But this is kind of low class. I wouldn't wear this out in public.
Fair enough.
So, but it's fun. It's a fun outfit to wear. Now, if I was going somewhere where I was gonna, like you would Rocky Horror Picture Show or something like that, then yeah, I would be happy to wear it.
I've seen you dolled up before, and I mean, when I say dolled up, I mean you're going out and you're out with political figures out.
Yeah.
Like Janet is a stunner. She dresses for the occasion.
Yeah, I try to dress, appropriately. Put it that way.
I like it.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Like I said, you class up this channel quite a bit, and you do quite a bit for me, and so I mean, I want to let you know, like, if there's ever anything you need, we're gonna try to do our best for you. My wife crushes on you all the time, so like, I'm just.
But she's classy too. That's why she has lots of class, like me.
We try, but she's a diesel tech now, so she has enough energy to come home and pile into the shower and scrub off diesel and other auto and truck fluids.
See, that's the only difference is that I don't have to do that. I make art and I crochet and sew and I write.
Yeah, and she labors, and she used to have a crafty lifestyle that she could indulge in, but now she has enough energy to come home, shower, eat, bed. And it's like, well, it's getting pretty regular with this. Okay. She's good with it. She's good with it right now. She enjoys it. It's a learning process. And I'm sure that at some point they're going to say, like, well, you've got 2 college degrees and corporate wants a manager, so guess who gets to be the branch assistant manager? Da-da-da-da. And they're going to do that to her. But that's just what I see happening because she is smart like that. She could do it. We've got, the Crafting Gamer says something. Even with the way Janet's dressed right now, she's still the classiest woman I know.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much.
The Crafting Gamer, I believe, is the one that did the Family Guy trilogy, I believe. Either him or Matt Thompson. I can't remember. I put it in the description.
Yeah, see, I haven't seen. I've watched a lot of episodes of the Family Guy, but I haven't seen the those episodes.
It was the anniversary stream that we did.
Mm-hmm.
Six Nation 31 King says anything for Daniel Steele we would require a copious amount of alcohol and riff tracks like commentary for me to slog through it. And then they're talking about Kentucky Fried Movie.
Classic.
And yeah, that's a classic movie. I've never seen it, so I guess we'll have to watch it soon.
Which one?
Kentucky Fried Movie.
Oh, Kentucky Fried Movie. I don't remember if I've seen that or not. I'd have to watch the trailer.
Okay, Crafting Gamer says the Family Guy Star Wars trilogy is me. Okay, you're going to be doing what Lady's doing here in a couple weeks.
I think it's fun. I think it's good if you suggest a movie to come up with us and talk, and laugh along with us, and because one of us might say something that brings something else, into your forefront, and you remember it and like, oh yeah, we talk about that. So it's just nice to have your perspective since you're the one that brought up the movie in the first place. At least I think so.
I don't disagree with what she says. I do not disagree at all.
No, I think it's a pretty fun idea.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, that's what we're doing. I mean, if it wasn't for you guys, I mean, we would just be us two talking, you know? So, you know, you guys are the ones that make it fun, us talking about something we like, you know, which is movies, and good movies that we, you know, got to watch before, you know, Hollywood went all woke and everything. But hey, there's buttloads of good stuff out there to watch. It's fun, entertainment. And I just like to dress up, you know, like Halloween and, you know, cosplay, go to Wizard Con or something like that, and get to go as a character from one of your movies. But yeah, I was talking about one of the movies that I want to do in the future, and I'm trying to remember who it was that said they wanted me to dress up as Lilu. And I was like, I ain't wearing that one outfit. No way, no gauze. So.
She wore a couple outfits in that movie, but everybody remembers the gauze.
You know, she was hanging on the side of a building. It was an intense scene.
Yes, yes.
But after the shower scene, what do you remember, Bruce? You're still thinking about the shower scene?
No, I actually, a shower scene, you know, like, it's an 80s film. I expect this. Like with Porky's, you know, like, ooh, it's Kim Cattrall's boobs. And, you know, after 5 or 10 seconds, it's like, oh, okay, that's committed to memory. And next, and that, you know, then you can go back to that if you have your Betamax or VHS of Porky's, or you want to watch a rip off the web, that's fine. But I really didn't think much about the scene after that, the shower scene. I didn't think much about it, and I still don't. I worked in a strip joint for a while, and I lived 3 miles away from said strip joint. And Latham, Illinois is very close to Kinney. Kinney, Illinois used to have a kitty cat club, and it got burned down in 2006 when I went off to go find a Prime Trucking as a place of business and teach me how to drive a CDL officially. While I was gone, this kid went in there one night and he burned the place down because he wanted to have his girlfriend saved from a life of stripping. Well, he doused the strip joint in gasoline, and only at the point where everything's on fire does he realize he just doused the one exit in fire. So he died, and we all celebrated because you're an idiot. You know, I mean, he's an idiot for doing that, and I still dance at the thought, like, that guy got what he deserved. FAFO, you know, and that's completely rational. You know, like, you wanted to get rid of, like, my source of entertainment and income. Man, I'm glad he's gone. And I was there for about 2 years as a DJ on and off, because it wasn't like a steady thing. And you can't really go to your tax preparer and be like, hey, Bobby's Bits and Big Fluffin' Titty Shakers are paying me, and here's the W-2 from it. No, that was where I first learned how to lie on your taxes. And that was a fun gig. Got a chance to, you know, talk crap and enjoy myself. Had a couple strippers that really liked my style and my ability to spin music, transition from one to another, but had others that just absolutely hate metal, and those girls don't dance anymore. Okay, so when I see a naked lady, I'll take about 2 seconds to analyze, and that's it. The only time I ever over-ogle is if it's somebody I'm with, because that's just what you do. You're polite. Or if it's a woman who is just all beef, she's just completely beefed out. She looks like she's on some anabolics, as a Russian gymnast, has the fine.
She looks like she can tear you to shreds. Is that what you like, Bruce?
Death by snoo. Give me muscle mommy. Yes. Yeah. You know, and I love that. I'm not afraid of that. That's like,
hey, half the guys I know, they're into Gina Carano types, ones that look like they could pick them up and tear them up.
She got better with thickness. That's all I'm gonna say.
WWE China.
Yeah, like China used to be kind of cute, but don't watch the porn with her. Do not watch the porn with her, because nobody told her.
Porn?
Yeah, Backdoor to
Yeah.
China.
Oh, I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
just
the
thought
movie-
she was a fighter.
The movie Backdoor to China ruined everything about her for me. And scene 3, if you're looking for that, guys, don't waste your time. Otherwise, she looks like
Like my mom always said, why buy the cow if you get the milk for free? So if you can see, see her doing stuff with everybody else, and why would you want them?
Exactly.
Pretty much.
So
That's why I won't do it. I won't be on OnlyFans or even with my feet. I mean, I've had thousands of people say, "Yeah, I want to see your feet. I'd pay to see your feet." I'm like, why? That's sick. There's plenty of feet out there. I mean, I could put someone else's feet on there, and they probably wouldn't even know. But I'm not going to do it. I just think that's not my. That's not me. What I'm doing is I like. This is it. This is how I'm going to be right here. The stuff that I'm doing.
as slutty as Janet gets. This is as risque as it gets for her, and I love it.
Sorry, I could hardly hear you. It was like you're far away from your microphone.
I've got a mic it's a directional mic. I have to be basically within a 45-degree cone of it.
Yeah.
I found out, and I was just putting something in the chat for our friend, the Crafting Gamer, because he says death by stitch is an honorable death. I'm like, for reasons I implore. There's the Reddit you need if you're into that. Because
I wouldn't mind it either. Who wouldn't want to die that way? Everyone I know.
The spirit is willing, but the flesh is bruised and squishy.
It's still one of the best scenes in all of Futurama.
I love. Well, one of my favorite episodes of Futurama is the one where Fly is drinking all the coffee, and then
That's
when
awesome.
he gets to the 300 cup, and he's like lightning, like the Flash, and he saves all those people from the burning building. I just love that episode. I think it's really a really good one. But I like the snoo one. It's at the very end. And then the other one I really love is when Fry goes to that other planet with the guy that wants to blow up Earth, and his son is feeding him Skittles, what he thinks is Skittles, but it's really his poop.
Wow.
I just laugh my butt off every time I see that. It's so freaking funny. The writers are geniuses. I mean, I just love that show.
I haven't seen enough of Futurama, so I'm going to start watching it on a server. I
would review that. We could watch Futurama from the very beginning and review each episode. That would be fun.
Noted.
That's if you want to.
We have season 4. After the shower scene, I really focused in on the hamburger you sort of stuff that they did, because they were kind of parodying the McDonald's university lifestyle, which I don't know if anybody here has ever worked as a manager for McDonald's. I know people that have, and I asked him. I spent a little bit of time over the weekend reaching out to old friends and talking to people that went to Whataburger University and McDonald's University, and ask them questions. I'm like, okay, well, I just have a couple clips for you. You want to see something, and we're going to talk about this. And I showed him clips of the CEO talking about no bull, which I thought was fantastic. And the corporate culture that is in this movie, starting with former linebacker of the century Dick Butkus doing his best Arlie Ermy, but coming off like G. Gordon Liddy. I absolutely love Dick in this movie.
I thought he did a really good job. I knew him, I recognized him, but I just didn't. I couldn't place who he was, and I kept thinking of him as an older Marine, because he just looked like a typical Marine kind of guy or something. I don't know why, but that's what I kept telling Bruce. I go, he used to be in the Marines. Who is that guy? When we were watching the show, and when he said it was football, he was. I was like, oh, you see, I never really watched football, my mom loved baseball, so that's what we always watched, was baseball games and stuff. We didn't, and the Olympics. We didn't really watch that. But see, I wish I'd had a brother, because when you were telling me, Flady, about, you with your friends, and what was, you said, eighth grade?
Something like that.
Yeah, around there. Oh man, it would have been so cool. I mean, I was friends with lots of guys because I took shop and agri and stuff. My mom made me take home ec, but I enjoyed being with the guys more, and I got in a little bit of trouble because of it. But because they're the ones that got me to smoke my first cigarette, and stuff like that. But we set the woods on fire, behind our houses and stuff like that. But it would have been so cool to just hang out with a brother. I think I would have really liked it. But I was basically the brother to my four sisters. So, oh well.
And now we use Janet to class up the channel.
Well, it took me a long time before I really got into, wearing makeup and dressing up in girly stuff. And I like it a lot more than I thought I would. But, it's like I told you, my sister right below me and right above me, both were blonde, and they were built like Mae West. They were like just real hourglass, and I was more athletic build. So all the guys, I have a boy that liked me, and I bring him home, and he's like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "It's my sister." And they go, "Oh," so I was like, "Forget it. I hate guys." So, that's just the way it was.
When I was in high school, like, I dated from my fast food restaurant. That was bad. And then I dated from the restaurant next to us, which was better, but the selection was still bad. My ideal woman up until 2004 wore a men's boxers, a 2XL men's oversized hoodie that would completely tent pole her frame. You would have more revealing outfits in Amishville or in the Middle East than what I would see. And then she would have her hair pulled out the back end of a ball cap, because I was into 90s chicks like that. And I still like have a serious, like, I donate to the blue pill people whenever I see that. And that is like my absolute favorite outfit for women still to this day. I watch Friends for like second and third tier stuff, because between Crystal Bernard and Farrah Fork, the recently passed Farrah Fork, God bless her, those two ladies really like had a good 90s sense of fashion. But I was always like with the athletic chicks that would wear the baggy sweatpants and baggy shirts and all that, because after working at a strip joint for a while, you know what you don't really want to see a whole lot of? No, not that. So you want to flex your imagination a bit.
Yeah, during when we were watching the movie on Discord, and Bruce was talking, we talked a little bit during different parts of the movie, and he was telling me that after we were done, we had talked a little. He was telling me about how he worked at the strip bar and all that stuff, and I was like, just think about it. What if your job was a gynecologist? I guess you'd get tired of it too, looking at it all day long, So it would probably take the edge off of, I've seen one, you've seen them all type thing. So we laughed a little bit about that, but it was funny. I thought it was funny.
Glad to see my friend Grumpy Old Ninja Kintaro in the chat here. Thank you. Just want to say that. I really enjoyed the grill chef, the grill sergeant scenes. I love Dick Butkus. You didn't really see much of his personality on Sunday Afternoon Football, but in the 80s, he starred in a really bad TV show called Blue Thunder, which was supposed to be a follow-up to the movie with Roy Schneider. And it was Dick Butkus and another Chicago Bear alumni on there who just recently passed, and his name slips by me. But those two were on it, and they were the comedy relief, and they delivered in spades. It was actually only worthwhile watching Blue Thunder to watch what Dick Butkus and his buddy were doing. and they were supposed to be like undercover cops, but like undercover cops that are built like linebackers. It was great.
Well, one thing about the movie with him as a character in it, I had a hard time understanding, was that like a good car back when that movie was made? Because he was, huh?
That was a Mustang.
But it just didn't, I mean, but it wasn't very nice. I mean, it wasn't, to me, it wasn't flashy or, a woman to pick up women kind of car. So he was very, I just thought he was, boring. He was a boring character. And that's why the woman was like, he was a nice guy, but she wasn't really interested in him because he wasn't like trying to sweep her off his feet or anything. And when he would go out there and he'd wipe his car and all that stuff, I was like, you'd expect somebody doing that with a Ferrari that's red or bright yellow or something like that. But the car was kind of dull, I thought. So, that kind of, that made me even think, that he was more of a narcissistic slob or something, because his car wasn't even flashy. You know what I mean?
Well, okay. I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings here. I'm going to hurt someone's feelings, but the Mustang peaked before I was born.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know how old I thought all Mustangs were old or something.
Yeah,
the ones that people want to collect.
The one you'd want to pay for and pay insurance for, those are 60s builds. And what they had in the 70s was not worth buying. I wouldn't get the Lee Iacocca Cougar either. Sorry. But I got to say that with the latest round of Shelbys we had about 10 years ago, that's probably where I would go with money if I was going to buy a Mustang. But I wouldn't touch any other Mustang. And like it's such a nut punch. Like if you're a Ford guy and like it took them forever to bring out the GT40, that Mustang that Butkus is driving around, that little pathetic powder blue color. God, I mean, and he treated it like it was a queen.
Mm-hmm.
I felt sorry for him on that aspect. I really did. But
like the before it gets damaged later on in the movie, all him babying it and all that kind of stuff, that was normal. I mean, I watched lots of guys do that with their trucks and stuff like that, but it just didn't look, it just wasn't a very flashy car for me to make it as believable for them to use it as a picture car basically in a movie. I mean, it just was not, wasn't what I was expecting it to be when he kept doing that stuff to it. I was like, the car is not even nice. I mean, it's a nice car. I'm sure it was a nice car to everybody else. I mean, that saw him with it or something, but I didn't think it was very flashy and, or someone that would be, don't lean against my car. Don't do, that kind of stuff. Usually has flames on it or, or something, it's fancy. It's got special coatings or special headlamps.
I didn't hear anything under the hood on that. And it sounded like a stock Mustang, which was the reason why you'd want to alter under the hood. They were such a, if you were a Ford fan, you just had to eat crow every new release of the Mustang up until 2010, when Shelby started getting ready for his retirement, and these are the last Shelbys we're going to produce. That's the only reason why you'd want to be a Ford fan, unless you manage to make a lot of money and you can get a GT40.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of, fighting going on between cars and vehicles and stuff, depending on which one you were getting. But, but that place was pretty, like boot campish. Is that what it was supposed to be like?
Mm-hmm.
It was like a boot camp where, where's the beef?
They lampoon the...
I thought it was the dumbest premise of a movie I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen anything so stupid about I mean, it was funny. I mean, slapstick funny, that kind of comedy. And they had quite a bit of slapstick with the one chubby guy that kept doing electrical shocks to himself. He reminded me of a John Candy, type character. And what was the other one that was in that Tommy? You know,
Yeah,
Tommy
I believe it was
Wahoo.
Tommy.
He was funny, from Saturday Night Live when he's like, "I live in a van down by the river." That guy.
Yeah,
I can't do it. I can't do the voices and stuff, but
I'll do it, but I have to get away from the microphone. Hold on.
okay. But I just thought that he was funny. That he was a
Things are kind of rough when you're living in a van down by the river.
Oh, you're funny.
That was pretty spot on.
He sounded a lot like him. Yeah, Chris Farley, that's his name. Someone put it in the chat. I couldn't remember. I'm sorry. But yeah, he was a really, really talented man. He made me laugh in every movie, even the one where he was the ninja. I mean, he was just very good at comedy.
I cried when he died, and my parents were like, he wasn't that funny. I said, actually, in about 10 or 20 years, people are going to say he was a genius. But go ahead and say he wasn't funny. People said that John Belushi wasn't funny. But I watch the Blues Brothers every year, twice or three times if my father's around, because that's just what we do. The Buster Burger University portion is completely a parody of the McDonald's lifestyle, which they imprint upon you at Hamburger U. And this movie got pretty accurate. I've not been to a McDonald's University, but my friends who saw the grill chef stuff, they said they try to get to that point. They don't get to that point, but they want to. They want to make it to where you believe in the Golden Arches, you believe in your store, and you believe that you're going to be able to bring home enough money to buy everything you want. You just have to put your nose to the grindstone and manage these 16-year-old kids.
Yeah.
And
but it seemed to me, for such a big university and stuff, they really didn't want people to graduate because they were picking people, like forcing that one, the one black singer that I said reminded me of the guy that was in the movie Coming to America. And he had the greasy hair every time he sat down. There was a grease stain, on the chair. He used too much Jerry curl or something like that. That's what his character reminded me of, because I didn't know who he was. I didn't remember anyone. There was only a couple people that looked familiar to me in the whole movie. I didn't know anyone. So it was like, it was a new movie, except the woman that came into the shower and caught them, when they were making out in the shower. And she reminded me of the lady from Porky's.
Paul Bricker.
Yeah, that woman. That's who. And the mom from Goonies.
Yes.
The mom of all the bad guys.
Ann Ramsey.
Yeah.
She had that Ann Ramsey. You're talking about Ann Ramsey from the Goonies. Danny, get your brother Sloth some food. That lady.
Yeah. But, they were fun. The placement of it was pretty good. And the nun, the woman that played the nun, why would a nun want to go to a hamburger school? I just thought it was hoot. And instead of her changing her uniform, she just made her habit red. I was laughing a lot about it because I just thought that was just so sacrilegious, but funny, because, you got to laugh at yourself. But I thought that was funny, the whole thing. And she's wearing a habit that's red and white throughout the whole thing. I just thought it was really good. And the nerd guy, when I thought he was talking about the little car that the guy was driving with his hot blonde wife, that looks like she was in the movie Red Sonja. She looked like that actress to me, with a blonde wig on or something, and a really dark tan, and she was a hoot. But the only thing is, every time she spoke, it just made my skin crawl. Something about her voice was irritating.
That lady you're talking about was in the movie The Man with Two Brains with Steve Martin. And he's looking for a woman who has a great body so he can shove the brain of his dead wife in her corpse. And
he's takes this girl who is Randy Brooks, and she plays Mrs. Volk. Okay,
Yeah.
she plays the Lyman Volk's wife, and in this movie, she's got a little pixie cut. In the movie The Man with Two Brains, she has really long, luxurious locks to accentuate her figure, which is amazing for 1986.
Yeah.
And she's a good-looking woman.
Yeah,
But-
she was built like an Amazon woman, very tall, statuesque, nice, boobs, and she was shapely. She wasn't a stick-figured kind of woman.
No, she was about perfect, as most men would say. And except for she's not married to me, and that sort of thing. And most guys would say that. But they have her in this Man with Two Brains film, and Steve Martin does not kill her because she starts to sing the Duke of Earl. And she's got that voice, that miserable, horrible voice. Casey Kasem's wife sounds like an opera singer compared to this lady.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah,
And,
she's another big, taller Amazon built woman too. Casey Kasem's wife. When she was in, wasn't she in Ghostbusters?
Yes, she was in Ghostbusters. Her
Yeah,
and
in
Eric
Ghostbusters.
Moranis had a scene, which was nice.
And she was a big woman. I mean, I'm not saying she was, ugly or anything, but she was beefy. I mean, she was tall, big boned, very pretty. I thought she was beautiful too. So, yeah. Yeah, that's her with the hair.
Yeah.
Longer hair. Mm-hmm.
And nowadays she's a little older.
But where was she from with that accent and her voice? It's like very nasally and
I hate to say, I want to say Chicago. I don't want to hurt my friends that are up from my home state, but she was born in New York City, New York, USA.
Mm.
And she's known for The Man with Two Brains, TerrorVision, and Cop. But she was Lyman Volk's wife in this movie, and Lyman Volk is very, very fastidious on everybody eats from Buster Burger. Well, her and her little daughter, the cutie, go out to this Chinese restaurant for the best scene in the entire film.
Yeah. Oh my God. That scene I was just shocked. I've never seen anything like that before in a R-rated movie. I was, oh my gosh. I was just, I was shocked.
They do a little cunnilingus, and it's funny. And Dick Butkus is part of the scene too, and it gets to be a fun time. And I recommend, if you guys need to watch this movie, contact me on Discord. I'll point you in the right direction.
The funny thing too about it is the fact that they're all in there, okay, for this scene, okay, and you got to remember they're filming this, okay, and they film it for hours. It takes hours and hours to film it because they film it from different directions. So when they edit it together, you can see the faces of all the actors, and they're not all sitting in a straight line. They're like in a curved motion, and then you have the two guys under the table. Now, I'm not saying that when the two guys are under the table, the people sitting at the legs that you see is probably not even the actors. Okay, so when you see the one guy putting his head in between the other girl's legs, going to town because she wasn't wearing any underwear because he's under the table and he's like, she's not wearing, Mrs. Vaughn, whatever her name was, isn't wearing any underwear, and he's like, oh my God, and he's like, I'm going in or something. I was rolling. I was really laughing. That was a really, really funny scene. And then you see her face and her eyes get real wide and she leans back in her seat. And then all of a sudden you see her covered with sweat. She starts sweating and making funny noises. And then she's eating all that meat and sucking on the bones and stuff. I was just dying. It was such a funny scene. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Thank you, Flavy.
What did Flavy think about that scene? I would like to know.
Oh, the movie itself is a masterpiece of cringe. It encaptures the 80s, just that essence. And yeah, I'm pretty sure, I know I didn't see it in the theater. I think it was like 2 years later. It was either we got it at like Hollywood Video or it was
Family
on my buddy's
Video or
HBO.
something like that.
Yeah, or my dad got Prism when cable first hit, and everybody else got HBO. So it was either on HBO or we got it from the local video store. Two
Well,
side notes: the lesser known and cheaper version of McDonald's University was Burger King University. They didn't want to spend the money, so they mainly recruited in high schools, because I got wrapped up into it as my first high school job. And if you would like to buy shirts for this movie, you can get them from AliExpress for like $7.
oh,
in bulk.
really?
In bulk.
Because I got online and was trying to find information, so I could trying to find that woman, the woman that was at the beginning, the counselor that was trying to have sex with the main actor. And I found this thing that it said Hamburger, the motion picture, and it said 1986 teen sex comedy. It was like, I was just shocked because I didn't even know they made R-rated movies towards teenagers. I didn't think that was legal. I didn't, what I mean? I was just surprised when I was reading some of the stuff. I was like, they could target teens with an R-rated movie because they knew the guys were going to sneak it or rent it without, just like buying beer. You're having your friends buy your beer and stuff, giving them money, and they're going and buying it for you, and they know you're drinking it. It's not going to be dumped out or anything like that. Or getting what was it? Was it Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox, where they went through all that trouble to get that keg of beer, right, to be able to go to the party because you couldn't go get in or something without a keg, and they show up and there's like 50 kegs. Piled up in the bathroom or whatever. And I was like, after they went through all that shit, and to get your deposit back, then you have to take your keg back or whatever. So I don't know. It was just, the whole thing was just that scene in the restaurant, and it was an Asian restaurant, right? Oriental.
Yeah.
And they had ordered all these meals to eat, and her sitting there sucking the bones while she was getting ravished under the table. I just thought that was just, I'm still shocked thinking about it because I just cannot believe that was on a just an R-rated movie. Today it would probably be PG-13. I mean, you know what I mean? But I haven't seen anything like it again since then. So
I don't want them to make it. I don't want them to do a remake. I know that damn much. I've seen what they've done so far, and I don't want Amazon to touch it either because Amazon said they were doing Wheel of Time, and that's basically we have Wheel of Time at home. And then Amazon said we have Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, fuck. And that,
yeah, the Wheel of Time was just I can't even. I love the books, and that was an.
Yeah, I haven't watched it because I was told it was really, really terrible. So I haven't even.
Any cliche you can think of that they can ruin it with today's modern spin, they did.
Yeah,
it's
figures. That's what I don't know why they think that they can make money doing that. What are they trying to do? Do you think they're trying to purposely crash every single movie and character down to nothing so that no matter what you make, the people will go see it because that's all there is? I mean, I just don't understand it.
You can actually find them on YouTube. That there are meetings of these people, and they purposely admit to wanting to get their hands on as many IPs as possible and destroy them.
I know, but what's behind it? Have they ever said why they want to destroy it?
Cultural control. Rewrite the narrative.
Doesn't make any sense.
And if they go bankrupt, they'll get government, bailouts. And if you look in, many of these big companies have government contracts. So, yeah.
Don't even get me into politics after what they did in California.
No. But he has the page I was just on up. I mean, I'm sorry, the yellow one, I would buy that.
Yeah.
Those are funny.
I doubt they look that good, though. Coming from AliExpress.
Yeah, I could see you wearing one of them on your show, Bruce, because you wear some really good shirts.
I could see
But
it.
I do like the yellow one, but it's because it's bright. I like bright colors and stuff. So I like yellow. I think yellow's a good shirt.
Okay. I really like the scenes at the Grill University. The Chinese restaurant, I just can't believe that they actually filmed it. They filmed it. They set up a scene. They had people employed. They had lighting. They got cameras in. They got the gaffers ready. And then the director of photography came in and he started doing tests before they bring in the actors. And they start making sure they have all the. Don't they make sure they have everything ready to go before they bring in the actors? That's like the
they have
part.
stand-ins that come in and they'll sit in the spots while they're doing the lighting and the microphone checks and all that stuff, because you don't want the actor having to sit there for hours, while they're trying to fix all that stuff. So you have stand-ins doing it. And then sometimes they have real food, and then they do have real food normally, except that nobody eats it because it's been sitting there for hours and hours, So
one of my favorite.
It looked pretty real, but the one thing that I knew wasn't real was the fact when she starts pulling on the tablecloth because she's getting close to having an orgasm or whatever, and she pulls the tablecloth off the table, and that's when Dick Buck gets to see through the glass table, which you normally would never have. They don't normally have glass tables in a restaurant like that.
No.
It's just not cost efficient. It makes them too heavy. It's hard to move around or whatever when you rearrange things. But and then you see his face when he sees them under the table. So I just thought all that was really, it was a really funny scene though. So
yeah,
really
10 out of 10 would watch it again. I'll just say that between those two scenes, the Burger University stuff and the Chinese restaurant, that was absolutely priceless. And the rest of the movie, the Act 3 kind of failed a little bit for me, but it still had some funny parts in it. Like I wasn't really a big fan of the rigging up. Well, hold on. There's a scene where Dick Butkus is using a radio to talk through the speaker of the drive-thru to a black cop. And I'm sure back in '85 that was considered just semi-racist. But in 2023, that's like the only thing missing from it was just the N-bomb chef's kiss at the very end. That was the only thing missing from it. That was all it was missing from it. And it was in the script, and he lined it out at the very end. There might be footage of them testing it, and it didn't fly well, so they said, no, we'll take the N-bomb out, no big deal. And that scene didn't really fly with me too well, but I know they did it for a reason that's coming up. And Dick Butkus tells the main character, Mr. Rocco, that we have, whole cities have burned for less. Butkus is going to, the grill sergeant's going to ruin this guy because he hates this character. He's just too good looking to be a manager for these people. He's jealous of this guy. And
he's jealous because he knows his woman, the woman he wants, is attracted to him because he's not just, I don't think it's just because he's attractive. It was the fact that he was attentive and flashy, or he was exciting. You know what I mean? You can have, you don't have to be really handsome or beautiful to be exciting. You just have to be spontaneous and, want to try new things like that. So that's what I think was attractive to her about him, like the whole scene when they're in the pool and they all end up in the pool. I thought that was funny. But the geeky guy that wore his pants like Urkel, that one, the whole thing about him going and working for the scientists and getting injected with all that, I guess, chicken fat, he was getting injected.
Wasn't fat. It wasn't manteca. I mean, it was, but it wasn't.
I'm sorry.
Let me pull up. Let me see if I can still scroll up and find that statement. That was
someone made it earlier. I forget who.
I think it was Six Nations said that.
But when they took him and he had the feathers on his back and he was clucking, he was doing a pluck, 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 like a chicken. I was laughing. I thought that was funny. And then when they explained it and all that stuff about why he was turning it basically into a chicken, and then they take him to it looked like the bottom of a swimming pool that was drained. And then you see these two chubby girls wear these weird outfits come and get him, and you're like, oh no, what's going to happen? Are they wanting him to be like a rooster or something and breed these chicken girls? I didn't know. I was just my imagination. And then he gets back and he has an egg and he gives it to him. I just thought, oh my god, that was so stupid. It was funny. It was funny though. I did laugh a lot.
Six Nation 31 Kings came up with it. He's like, you got a quality film with dialogue such as Dr. Mole, and I quote, I injected 20 cc's of bird cum. That is the equivalent of 3 tons of my new synthetic chicken. Top tier entertainment.
Oh, it was terrible. Yeah, that guy was just gross. Now, the mad scientist guy that wore the Coke bottle glasses, he was very creepy and repulsive to me. I just thought he was, I don't know what it was, something about him. And the other guy, the owner of all the restaurants and stuff, he just seemed, I don't know. It was something weird about him. His character to me was just not likable whatsoever. Is that what you guys got from it? Did you think he was not supposed to be likable? But he was genius. If his restaurants were making that much money that he could have a whole university pay people to go to school and run his stores, he must have been making a lot of money. Now, I did love the scene. One of my favorite scenes that the real pretty brunette was in, when she got the chainsaw and was cutting up the giant beef in the middle of the class at the front. I thought that was funny. Now, that was a really funny scene.
That's actually something that goes on at a lot of these universities for the fast food restaurants. They will actually have somebody showing you things, and they'll start to actually hack on it or cut it with either a saw or chainsaw. You'll actually have that. And one of my friends that works over here at Whataburger down off of Medical, he had said that they have a lot more shenanigans at Whataburger U than what he experienced at McDonald's U.
Yeah,
which makes sense because we're in Texas. I mean, you better love beef, you fucker. If you don't like beef, we're gonna shove you right out of the program. Get your hands on them bull testicles. Okay, just kidding. We don't use those for anything. Those go to the hot dog division.
And when she cut the bull's balls off of the wooden statue or whatever and threw them at that one guy, and there were onions, I guess. I don't know what they were, but he just starts eating them. So he likes mountain oysters apparently.
I saw those made.
Got a little bit of love for Beer Fest in the chat. I'm sorry, what did you say, Flatey?
I was gonna say I saw Rocky Mountain oysters made once, and I was just like, no.
Did you hear what he said, Janet? Oh, she went on mute. I believe she's got some messages on her phone. I heard the phone vibrating.
I have somebody printing something, so I turned off my microphone.
Fair enough.
Beer Fest is good though.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Have you ever seen their first movie, Puddle Cruisers?
No.
Oh, I mean, it's up there. It's not Super Troopers, but you could see the beginnings of greatness of just this kind of degenerate, in your face comedy.
They're one of the few groups out there, and I'm referring about Broken Lizard troupe. They're one of the few comedy troupes that actually has the potential to save comedy and deliver us from what's going on right now. I don't know if Janet's ever seen any of their stuff. Janet, have you ever seen Super Troopers?
I think I saw some of it, but I don't think I saw the whole thing or anything. No.
Did you ever see Beer Fest?
Mm-mm.
Okay, we're filling in movies for later. All right.
Sorry. I mean, I just never, any of those crazy movies, I just never like some of the ones with Will Ferrell, that kind of stuff. I just never was interested in anything that reminded me of Dum Dums, because I had so many guy friends that did such dumb stuff in high school. A lot of them rode bulls, and they were just dumb. They just get drunk as a skunk, and they just walk on the edge of a railroad tracks, on the railing of the railroad tracks, waiting for the train to come, and just stuff that I thought was dumb. So whenever there was a movie that promoted dumb stuff like that, I just went, I'm not going to give money to people to be stupid and make other young people want to do stupid stuff. To me, it was just dumb. I even thought it was dumb. I rode, barrel race and did some stuff like that. And I had friends that rode bulls, and I just thought they were stupid. I told them, I said, why would you put yourself into that and knowing you can't get insurance or anything? So it's going to cost you a fortune when you get your head busted open by the bull. And they was like, because it's exciting. We like to do it. So I just thought it was stupid. So I just, didn't agree with paying money to watch that stuff. Roping cattle and stuff like that to me was great, the rodeo. But the guys that rode bulls in Bronx, I just thought was, a bunch of narcissists or something, because I was like, more of them got their arms and legs broken and broken ribs and bloody noses and all this stuff. And to me, it was just stupid. So anything that had to do with any of that kind of stuff, I just wasn't interested.
Okay. I'm not a fan of Will Ferrell. First off,
yeah, I don't really like him either. So
I don't find a lot of his stuff to be top tier entertainment. He's marginally there with Adam Sandler, and I stay away from Adam Sandler a lot. I really do enjoy though the Broken Lizard guys, because they actually make funny movies, and we're going to watch Beer Fest sometime in probably July or August, because that's just a fun movie, and you could probably show your son or your daughter's boyfriend, like, I'm a cool mom, and I just shook out showing.
Well, I thought this movie was funny. I'd never seen it. It wasn't one that I would be rushing out to see. You know what I mean? But I thought it was funny. So it was entertaining, and it was it had some really bizarre stuff in it, but. The only thing I was kind of sad about was I felt sorry for the girls that you saw their boobs, the boob girls, like the girl from Guatemala or whatever, the freedom fighter girl. I mean, I just felt sorry for these girls because they just didn't have. I guess I'm proud of my boobs. I was raised by my mom, and she said girls should wear bras. Okay, if you don't wear a bra, she said, you ever see these nature shows? And we would watch lots of documentaries, and she would show us these native girls, that never wore bras, and how their boobs hang down really bad, and they were flat, or like flat on top, and then they would hang down. And she said gravity does that, and walking around and bouncing around, jumping and running and stuff without support causes you to have boobs that look like that. If you go braless a lot, that's what they look like. So my mom always told us we had to wear bras, so she wouldn't let us run around. And this sounds really sad. I mean, I was embarrassed about it, but my mom was adamant about it. We would go to a couple of basketball games at our school. I didn't play basketball. I was a cheerleader, and I also did the books and things like that, and kept the score, things like that, because I didn't like basketball. I just was never into it. So yeah, I'm one of those people. Sorry, people. But there was a girl playing basketball, and she was holding her chest like this when she ran. And my mom was like, what's that girl's name? I want to know that girl, because I'm buying her some bras. And my mom did. She went and bought them, and she brought them to the school and gave them to her. And she was so thankful. And so, because she had some big boobs. I mean, she was in I think 6th grade, 7th grade, and she already had some pretty big boobs. And my mom felt bad for her. So my mom was adamant that girls should wear bras, and so that they'll be beautiful, that they'll stay beautiful and stuff. And she's right, because I wear bras when I sleep. I wear sports bras when I sleep. And I have have my boobs hurt if I don't wear a bra. So I guess because I've worn them all the time, that when I go braless for very long, my boobs start to hurt. So, but they gotten bigger and bigger as I got older. I've always said, don't worry, you're a late bloomer, but they're going to come. And she was right. But, and they look good, just like that episode of, what was it? What's the name of that show? Seinfeld, and had that real pretty woman, Terry Hatcher.
Mhm.
And he was wanting to see her boobs, and he was like, and she said, they're magnificent. That's what she told him. He never got to see them. So I thought that was funny. And I say that about myself all the time. I brag about them because I know what they look like, and I've taken good care of them. And I exercise my arms, and stuff, but I do exercises that do not use any muscles under here, because that's why gymnasts have no boobs. They work up, because boobs are fat. And when you work the right muscles, the fat disappears. So you have to be very selective on what exercises you do if you want to keep your boobs.
All of us are just in the chat. I'm just thinking of gravity and just physics and women.
Well,
on the
it's true. Gravity pulls everything down, So like if you young guys wear nice, tight underwear, tidy whities or whatever they are, you're not going to be one of them old guys when you're 65 and have balls that hang down, down on the side of your leg.
That is a problem for me. Nobody told me. Nobody told me this.
But see, I had a wonderful mom, and she had 5 girls, So, she tried to help us. Now, I had a couple sisters that would sneak around and go braless anyways, because they just thought it was, the sexy thing to do is to not wear a bra. So, moms can't win over all the kids. You're going to sneak around and do things. Like my mom would try to get none of us to smoke. And I puffed a couple of cigarettes myself. Is that from that TV show about the guys, girls on trampolines?
Yes.
Man.
Yeah, I love that show. I used to watch it because I thought those guys were funny.
Well, they were when they had a good script. Actually, Adam Carolla is hilarious, but Jimmy Kimmel needs a script writer, and if he doesn't, he gets like Amy Schumer, and he starts talking about his peen, and it falls flat.
See, to me, that's funny. That just shows a strong male testosterone levels, and I think it's great. There's nothing wrong with men being men, and liking to watch girls jump around or run or whatever else. It's not perverted. It's kind of funny and cute, but sexy at the same time. So that's what I think is wrong right now in a lot of the things. Sorry, people, I can't help it. All the stuff just starts popping in my head, and I just can't stop talking about it. So if you want me to shut up, just tell me to in the chat or whatever.
Please continue.
But, the thing is that I think that young men today are being oversensitized. I mean, they see so much porn and nudity and body parts and stuff that seeing a nice girl wearing a nice outfit with her hair done and the perfume on, and her trying to be a lady, crossing her legs, things like that, isn't appealing anymore to guys. They don't see women as attractive being a woman, because they think they have to see, TNA. If you don't see TNA, then they're not interested. And I've had guys do that to me. They're like, they take me on 2 dates, and then they're like, well, when are we gonna make out? Or, when do I get to third base? And I'm like, what? And then I've got girlfriends too, that use what is that one app where you swipe left or right or whatever it's called?
Tinder.
Yeah, these different apps to get guys. And this a friend of mine, she went on a couple of dates with this guy that she met on Tinder or whatever, and she's telling me, oh, he was great, he was hot, blah blah blah, and I'm like, you brought a guy to your house? He's been in your house, like a total stranger, and all that stuff. I guess I'm just a prude, I guess. But she's like, yeah, whatever. And then after like 2 or 3 months, they decided to be serious and start dating. And I remember she's like, his birthday's coming. I want to get him something special, something unique. And I was like, get him some nice silk pajamas. And she goes, oh, that's too personal. And I'm like, you're sleeping. To me, it's backwards. People are starting in the middle of a relationship instead of at the beginning, and that's why, I'm just not interested in that stuff. I'm not interested in starting in the middle. I want to start at the beginning and know what I'm getting, and, that they say stuff like, well, if I can't sample the product, then I'm not interested. And I'm like, well, then good luck. Have fun. See you later. But that's just, I guess I'm just an old prude. Maybe it's because I was a tomboy and I saw how the boys talked about girls and stuff. I don't know. I don't know why I'm this way. I just wish more girls respected themselves more and cared a little bit more about what they were doing with themselves,
I
put a price on themselves. And I'm not talking about being a prostitute. I'm talking about look in the mirror and like what they see and know that somebody out there is going to like you just like you are, and that you don't have to, show your ass and have your butt cheeks hanging out of the bottom of your shorts just to get, I'm doing this because we're doing this show, but normally I'd be wearing, like at the gym, I wear a sweatshirt, a sports bra, and sweatpants or leggings or whatever. And I work out, and there's a lot of girls in there. They're all decked out and they look, like models out of a magazine, but I'm going to the gym for 2.5 hours to work out and I sweat and I come home and I'm tired and I scrub my face and I take a shower or a bubble bath or something. But I do work out because I want to be healthy.
I can respect that. I really, really can. And I'm pretty certain everybody else does. In fact, Crafting Gamers, like, I agree with Janet. Then Hungar comes in. Nerds! Hey, Hungar.
But, and that's what it said. So how do we get back to that? How do we get back to courting, a young man, a young girl meeting each other and wanting to be boyfriend and girlfriend and giggling the first time they hold hands, that type of stuff. Or her getting a flower that he picked for her, on the side of the road or in a field. Little things like that. The joy of getting to discover another person and, find out their favorite color, their favorite songs, what they like to do, what's their favorite books. People are ending up getting married. They don't know anything. They know nothing. They absolutely know nothing about this other person except that, they're good and bad. And that to me is sad.
Completely agree.
Because I like to look, when I see a hot guy, I'm like, wow, whatever, just like anyone else. I got feelings and I got, a drive just like anyone else, but I'm not going to run over and say, hey, I want to jump your bones because you're so hot. I might kid around and joke, but I'm not going to really do that because to me, that's cheap. I don't know. Maybe that's because I get that from my mother. I don't know. She was just, my mom was a lady. I thought, she was, she wanted us girls to be ladies. And she had 5 of us. So that was a lot.
I admire your mother so much.
Yeah.
5 daughters.
Yeah. I don't know if we can go back to those days.
Daughters.
She kept trying to have that boy from my dad because he really wanted. Now I had 2 brothers. They didn't live. They died a little bit after they were born. So she had them, but she didn't get to raise them. So I would have liked to have had one.
Yeah, I get it. I'm an only child, but my parents had 3 others, but they didn't make it. So, that was the 1970s. There's something that you don't see too much anymore nowadays. You don't see the March of Dimes being used that much. They had a scandal about 10 years ago, and that used to be the big charity where I'm from. Like March of Dimes was who we gave money to. We gave them a fuck ton of money because my mom had good experience with them. Then whenever she lost the twins in 1972, my mom was like, kind of 24 years old, not a lot of money. Here comes March of Dimes, and they help out mom and dad. And like ever since then, they've anything we got, we kind of, that was our charity of choice. until, I discovered Wounded Warrior Project and became a vet, and I've got a lot of friends now that are broken. But that's what I do now. But I really do like March of Dimes, even though they've had some problems in the past. And I really think that for Janet, if we were going to get back to a society like that, first off, we have to bring back masculinity good. We have to have a society that doesn't dog on men every 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm. And women that don't want to be men, women that like I remember growing up and watching my mom walk up to the door of a grocery store or a bank or whatever, and if there was a man there, she would stop and just stand there for a minute, and the guy would see her, and then he would open the door for her. Maybe my mom went to school to learn how to do that stuff, but they used to do that. That's what my mother, I remember my mom saying, I want you to take home ec. And I'm like, why? I don't have to, I don't need it to graduate. She said, well, I want you to take it because when I was in 11th grade, I hadn't been on a date yet. And my mom was worried about me. She thought, because my dad had gotten military and he moved to Arkansas. And when I went, I was looking around at the potential dates, and I was like, I'm not marrying some, goat roper or something. And it was a teeny town though, like not even 2,000 people. Okay, it was very small. But she moved there because her mother was sick. My grandma was sick, and they owned like 25 acres, and we used to go there every summer. So I got a horse, and I spent a lot of time with my grandpa, and I went squirrel hunting and, that kind of stuff. And that was fun for me. So I enjoyed all that. But, and I took shop in agri, and I learned a lot of things, but I just there wasn't potential people that I was interested in. So when I signed up to start being a cheerleader and I traveled to other schools, I started meeting other guys that would ask me, but they had to drive like 2 hours just to take me out on a date. And there wasn't anywhere to go. I mean, there was a drive-in theater and like a Pizza Hut and a bowling alley. I mean, that's about it. So it wasn't what I wanted. And I told my mom, I said, as soon as I get a chance, I'm not going to stay here. I'm not staying in Arkansas. It's just not, at least not where I was, growing up. There wasn't anything. I didn't want to end up. I mean, I went to high school and there was like 4 girls from my 8th grade up that already had kids. They already had a baby when they were in 8th grade. And, I was like, that didn't happen to me either. So it was just like, it was just, I saw a lot of things that I knew I didn't want. I just did not want to be a mom, young, or have 3 dads, for my kids and stuff like that. So I just said, I'm just not interested. I just would not put myself in a position where that could happen. And I didn't. So, I had some willpower.
Now, I would like to say you weren't here earlier, but me and Flady were talking a little bit about our sea service time. He was a submariner.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we both, like, I don't know about Flady, but I'm going to assume, and maybe I'm improper for that, but we both saw a lot of our friends and fellow shipmates get married and divorce in our service time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that you and your husband made it all through all that, like, congrats to you and your husband, because not a lot of people make it through the service time still married.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's military is really tough. My dad was Air Force, and we traveled when almost every year and a half we were moving. So just like I was saying about Dungeons and Dragons, it was really hard for me to play or find anyone to let me play because they were serious about their teams. And they said, well, you're going to be moving in a year. We don't want you on our team because you can't be there. We help build you up, and then you're no good. We can't use you anymore. So I was like, okay. So I'd go and I'd watch a lot, and get drinks for people and stuff like that. But, it wasn't the same. I didn't get to play. I wanted to, but there just wasn't an opportunity for me because of the lifestyle that we had. So, and a serious gamer is not going to let you play when you're not going to be there. So
that's just the breaks. I mean, no offense, but this isn't 2023 where Janet
Janet can just open up a tablet and just jump in on roll 20.
I know, that's great. That's why when I got started talking to you about it and stuff, and I was like, "What, for real?" I thought you were kidding. I didn't realize it was real, and I'm loving it. I think it's a lot of fun. It's almost like I'm getting to turn back time a little bit and be a kid, and get to do the things that I wanted to when I was young and never had the opportunity to do it. I think I would have kicked some butt if I'd been able to play it when I was a kid. But
I'm really hoping that you enjoy the game. And
I do.
I'm going to say this, and I don't want to sound like, I mean, people will say I simp for you anyway, but, and maybe I do, but in all honesty, like, no, you're one of the better players I've got at my table. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One of the reasons is you ask questions. You don't overextend yourself. You are willing to, as other people put it, she's willing to take one for the team and ask, what's this mean? And you're willing to delve on that and figure out, okay, why is this a condition of success? And you ask questions about spells, you ask questions about actions, and you get into the character, you get into the world. And I mean, we had that one scene where, like, we had the baby had to get resurrected, and I hear Janet crying on her microphone, and I've got other friends that are messaging me, and they're like, "Is she crying?" I'm like, "Yeah, she's crying." And they're like,
"It was sad when you were telling us about it." And then I could hear the comments, and they're like, let's just go on, thing. And I said, "Hey, how much is it going to cost? What do I have to buy? I'll spend all my money. I'll spend everything I have so I can try to resurrect this kid." And then to see all the other guys on the team say, "Okay, well, if we get some diamond dust, we do this, we can bring the kid back." I was so excited because they listened to what I wanted, and they were willing to sacrifice a little bit of their gold and whatever they had to help bring this little kid back. And look what we got rewarded for. We got a whole farm because the mother was thankful. So there is rewards in real life if you do good things for people too, I think.
I think so.
When you asked me what I wanted to do, and I told you I wanted to be someone that could help her team, heal them, be supportive of them, and I want to see them be successful. And I'm successful as long as they are successful. And I knew it was going to kind of be hard. And I died already. Because a couple of them wanted to do their own thing, and the rest of us said, "Oh, hey, you guys go for it. Let's see what happens." It wasn't a good thing.
Like, I've got another character. There's another person at the table that this is their first game, and that's little Joe. I like Joe a lot. He's from Scotland, but he's a younger guy, and he doesn't ask a whole lot of questions. He hears things, he catches things, and then, like, he's gone off and he started reading the books. And so he kind of doesn't have the same inquisitiveness as you, because he's absorbed a lot. And I mean, I think he spends a lot of time in the books. He wants to run his own games, and I think that's great. But you are a good audience character because you will ask questions about, well, what's this mean? Well, what's this mean? And you're willing to ask those questions. And for the audience members that just kind of pop in, maybe they don't stay, but if they watch the game for 5 or 10 minutes, there's going to be a question that pops up, and Janet is a great vessel for that because she will ask questions about things, and everybody freaking loves you for that because they're afraid to ask questions. They've been playing the game for like 2 or 3
My mom didn't like it too much, and neither did my dad, but I've always been that way. I've been very inquisitive because, how are you supposed to solve anything if you don't know what you're solving? If you don't ask questions and try to, look at it, stand back and look at it, it's like getting an IKEA shelf or a bench or a desk, and then just saying, screw their directions. We don't need them. And start putting together, and you're all done, and you realize the whole thing's put together backward, and now you got the bottom of the desk on the top, stuff like that. So to me, it's best to sit down and look at everything you have, read how it says to put it together, and then start trying to do it. Hopefully it'll turn out right the first time you do it. So, things like that. That's how I look at it.
Hey, hey Bruce,
Go
did
ahead.
you have her watch Darkness Rising?
That's on the list.
That's literally because I must have missed the episode, or at least because usually when I watch you, I'm kind of popping in and out on your Saturday games. That's almost like shot for shot from that movie.
Which movie are you talking about?
There was a movie on Sunday that I sent you a link to on YouTube called The Gamer's Darkness Rising.
Yeah.
And it's about a established group of players that they go looking for another player to join their game. And so one of them manages to get this bookish ex-girlfriend of his, and they bring her into the game, but she doesn't know everything about the game. She's the audience character. And so they give her the book, and she goes home and she develops her own character, and she finds some of the joys in the book ready for discovery. And so she creates her character. It's a kick-ass character, really, but they don't really want her to create her own character first. They have her own character ready, but like she kind of gives a little shit to him. She's like, "Wait, I'm a female fighter, and I use a broadsword," and all the guys start laughing, shit like that. But then she reveals she's a spear fighter, and she's got a bunch of feats and abilities that contribute to her using the spear and the theory behind spear fighters in the game as it was written.
Mhm.
Now, not all those feats are true to the game, but you can put them in your own game because it's your own table. You can do what you want. But it's a
Yeah.
really cool scene when she introduces her character, and then there's a fight with goblins like 5 minutes after that. And it's her journey, Joanna's journey on the Gamer's Darkness Rising, is very much akin to the journey of Janet with Luna in my own table game. And that's why I sent you that. And then whenever you get the chance to watch it, or if you want me to watch it with you, or if you want everybody to watch it with you, we'll tell everybody when, where, and where to be, and we'll have a watch party of the Gamers Part 2 Darkness Rising.
Yeah, I would love to do that once a week. I would like to pick, like Wednesday night or something, movie night, and just everybody join in and we all sit and watch something, together, and just listen to each other laugh or, whatever, or say, oh, that's bullshit or whatever, whatever's going on. And
Yeah.
it'd be just like sitting in a movie theater with everybody and getting to enjoy something, something that some people seen and some people haven't.
I won't have my microphone on because I want to chew popcorn this time. I have a popcorn popper.
Yeah, I do too.
So I think you would enjoy that movie, and we will watch it here very soon. We will discuss it very soon. But this is a movie that's been around for about 20 years, and most of us have seen it multiple times. I've got multiple copies of it. It's a very much classic in the gaming industry. And I don't know a single person that's watched it and they didn't like it.
Well, I'm sure I'll like it. I like the other movie, but I don't know if anybody else did. But the movie I saw recently at the movie theater.
I actually got a chance to watch it. We'll discuss it. We will discuss it soon.
Good.
As it's a movie, it's great because of who it was made by and what the reason for them to do that is. I didn't like that, but I did like the movie. I wanted Chris Pine to be a better planner than what he was.
Yeah, but it was a comedy,
Mm-hmm.
so he's supposed to be bad at it.
Yeah. The rest of this film, they do some things in this movie. There's a scene where they wreck the restaurant, and that's all Dick Butkus fucking over the main character.
Well, it's him setting him up, like
Yeah.
the whole thing with the black cop in the drive-through, all that. I was really surprised they were able to get away with it. And then the scene where the little old lady orders from the giant pickle and has a heart attack while she's sitting in the drive-through, that was really, you wouldn't see that at all today, I don't think.
Well,
in any movie.
when they brought the egg out of the little nerdy guy because he had been injected with all that cc's of chicken cum. And then
Yeah, that was terrible. It was the fact that they took him because it looked like a pool. Did it look like a pool to you?
It did.
Okay, the bottom of a pool, and it had the slope, and he's walking, and his back's to you, and you see the feathers like growing out of his back, like like a one of the X-Men mutants. I think they call him Angel, right?
Yep.
And he got wings that he keeps cutting off or whatever. He's clucking and stuff, and they take. So I'm thinking it's going to be some kind of porn or something, and he's the rooster, he's going to start crowing or something with these two babes, in the bottom of in the darkness wherever they take him. And then you hear all the noise and stuff, and he comes back and he's like, "Thanks, I needed that." And he hands him the egg. I thought it was funny.
I thought it was great, but
that was like, that's what I'm talking about, the kind of goofy slapstick kind of humor that you got from there was a show my mom loved, and she loved it, and I thought it was really stupid. Now, there were some parts of it that I thought were funny. It was the Benny Hill show.
Okay.
My mom used to watch that. It was a British show or European or something like that. And there was scenes in it where Benny Hill, the main guy, and he had this little scrawny little old man that was going bald, and he would slap him a lot. He'd like slap him on top of his head and just slap him around. So I would laugh. I don't know why I thought that was funny, but just the way that he treated that little old man, I just thought it was funny. So I'm sorry, I'm getting stuffed up again. Happens to me every day like a roller coaster. Sorry.
Where Janet lives, Janet might as well live in San Antonio, except for the amount of services she has. But she receives mountain cedar through the air, and I think the local Bigfoot from Fort Smith is laughing at her house and farting it in her general direction, and she just gets like bombarded with allergens. So by 9 o'clock at night, our friend Janet is decomposing in front of us. Her sinuses are just like dead.
Yeah, I do really good for a few hours, and I don't know why. It just seems like, I have a huge filter in the back. I have it turned off though. I turn it off because it's so loud. I have a filter in my office, and I also have another HEPA filter in my bedroom. So I've got these little filters, and I'm dusting all the time and everything. And I get shots every week and, all this stuff, trying to survive this state. But the state is, it's killing me. I'm sorry. But I'm going to sound stuffy now. So, and my nose is getting redder and redder because I'm stuffed up. So I'm sorry.
All right. To answer the question, Six Nations, they do make a wall-aware chicken miniature. Or you could buy a giant chicken miniature if you so choose. Or better yet, go to Thingiverse, download the STL files, and you can print it off yourself, or at a local game store that has a 3D printer.
A chicken for what? It's a werewolf chicken?
A were chicken.
Or a poultrygeist.
I haven't seen it.
Poultrygeists are mean. I love this movie. I know it's not like I'm not super in love with it, but it's a 7 out of 10 easy. And the very end of the film, there's a Overeaters Anonymous situation that happens right before the restaurant gets destroyed. And
oh my God, that whole thing was so disgusting. But you know what? What's really sad about it is I don't know how many restaurants I've been in and seen people that way. I think everyone's seen people do that at a all-you-can-eat food bar and stuff like that. I mean, I know that you have. I mean, I don't know anyone who hasn't seen somebody once in their life eat like those people. That's why I think they made a very big scene of it.
They made a huge scene of it, and it's pretty horrible to watch. Like I had a friend who he died because he just couldn't stop eating, basically. And then he got under the knife to get his stomach stapled, and he was working on getting that done. And his name was Ando, but he was part of the Springfield, Illinois gamers crew that I was part of, and he died from his obesity. And it really sucks, but I mean,
if you've got a weakness, you need to not make yourself so exposed to it. Maybe living next door to Whataburger is not a good choice for you. That's probably not what you need in life. And this guy, he lived above a bakery, and so before he died, he was like 400 pounds. There's a reason why he's no longer with us. I miss the guy, and he was funny.
Really sad though. I had a friend. He was really, 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 really heavy, and he used to have a T-shirt. We were in a community service organization together, and he was in a group of other guys that were really big. I mean, they had to be at least 300 pounds, I think, to be in this group. And they called the group the Rolling Thunder. And I asked him, because they were good old boys, and he was the only child of a rich, very rich people. And he was really sweet, and he was a really nice guy, except he just loved food. He had a food addiction. He could not. And he was one of those people that you go to the restaurant, he would order like 5 dinners, and he would be able to sit and eat all of them. So he could go to that restaurant. I got to go one time. It's some kind of roadhouse, Texas Roadhouse or something like that, where you eat this 42-ounce.
Amarillo, Texas.
Yeah, you eat the steak, and you have to eat the potato and the salad and a couple other things with it. But if you eat it all, it's free. And you have to eat it within so many hours. I don't know how many hours it is, maybe 3 hours or something like that. And they have this place right in the middle of the restaurant, and it's like up off the ground about 6 to 8 inches. And there's a table and chairs and stuff there so that the person eating can sit there. And then there's this huge thing on the wall above them, and it has a clock that's ticking off how long they've been sitting there eating. And we stopped there to eat, and we got to, that's it. We ate, and there was a guy, and he was just a little guy. I mean, a guy that looked like he might have weighed 160 pounds maybe. And he was sitting there eating, and he was drinking, and he was sitting, and he'd get up and he'd walk around a little bit, then he'd go back and sit down, and he was able to do it. And everybody was clapping and stuff. And they get their picture taken, and they put them up on the wall because it was a lot of food. And they have a thing in the like in the foyer that shows you all the food they have to eat to finish. I mean, look at that steak. I can eat that. I don't think I can eat all of it, but that looks good to me. I'd eat it.
Here's the rules. And I watched 2 people fail. The entire meal must be completed in 1 hour. If the meal is not consumed, you lose within 1 full hour. Before the time starts, you will be allowed to cut into the steak and take 1 bite. If it tastes good and is cooked to your satisfaction, we start the time upon your acceptable approval. The time will not stop, and a contest is on, so make sure you say yes.
Yeah.
So make sure everything you do before you say yes. Once you've started, you're not allowed to stand up, leave your table, or have anybody else touch the meal. You are disqualified if anybody assists you in cutting, prepping, or eating of your meal. This is your contest. You don't have to eat the fat, but we will judge this. Should you become ill, the contest is over, you lose. You are required to pay the full amount up front. If you win, refund 100%. You must sit at the table we assign, which is it is, like she said, 8 inches above the floor everywhere else. So you're on a procured little stage there. You're on a platform. You are on stage, and it's your time to shine. Mm-hmm. If you do not win the steak challenge, you're welcome to take leftovers with you. You can take leftovers with you. That right there. It is a full $72 1-person meal, and it is amazing.
Oh, dinner I had steak, but I just had a ribeye, and I had corn on the cob and a salad, and it was delicious. The meat was almost so tender you could cut it with a butter knife. It was good. So they definitely know how to cook, and everybody's decked out in like really real cowboy clothes. Not those, not all these fancy jeans that you see with all the dots and they're all fixed up or whatever. These were like Wranglers. Everybody was wearing like Wranglers and a belt and real cowboy boots and stuff.
All the girls look like they are Gretchen Wilson's cousins. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, everyone was nice looking. I mean, but maybe it's because of the clothes they were wearing. I don't know, but it was a nice restaurant. I mean, it looked clean. It smelled good. And everybody was friendly, and got to watch somebody, and cheer them on, because I think he had like 15 minutes left and watching the timer tick down while he was sitting there. And when he was finished and he got up and he was walking around, it was shocking, because after seeing the amount of food that he ate after we were done, we were like, wow, it's amazing he was able to eat all that. So probably got sick later. I mean, I don't know how anybody could, your stomach has to be big to eat that much meat. I mean, that's just the meat. That's not even counting all the potato and the other stuff you gotta eat. So it was amazing.
That's definitely the meat sweats there. I would order it without all the stuff, but I wouldn't be doing the challenge. It looks like a good steak.
It's a great steak. You can eat it without the challenge. You get none of the joy. You sit at your table with your friends, and they just watch you, and they're like, "Why are you eating that?" And you're thinking, because who wouldn't want to eat this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would order that meal and just eat it with someone, share it with someone else, because you could probably 3 or 4 people, depending on how big you are and what kind of meat eaters they were. But yeah, everybody in there could be on a carnivore diet. That's some good meat. But I thought the before we finished talking about the movie, the helicopter scene, that was pretty good. That was a funny scene.
That helicopter scene had me worried at first, because we are going to talk about the Twilight Zone this year.
Yeah,
and
we did a little bit during the movie and stuff too, but the whole scene where, because nowadays you can tell that they don't really use a real helicopter anymore, because they just use a drone, and fly it around, because you couldn't tell. You just film inside the fake helicopter or whatever, but it costs a lot of money to get a real helicopter to fly around, especially in the city and stuff, because you have to have, a licensing and stuff like that. You can't, you have to pay a lot of money for insurance, stuff like that, to have a helicopter flying around buildings and all that stuff. So I can see why a drone would be a lot cheaper and save them a fortune.
It's just safer too. I mean, there have been accidents. I mean, they just had, was it like 5-6 years ago, a up and coming like supermodel lost their hand to an airplane, for a modeling gig.
This little scene here from King of the Hill, that little girl is a vegan, and she breaks his little heart. So he's like, I'm going to order the fucking steak, and I want it rare.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
It is one of the greatest episodes of cartoon ever.
Yeah, that's one of the things I loved about the Cowboy Way, is when he said, just wipe his ass off and slap it on the plate.
Take its little hand off.
Like that restaurant owner
rare.
that did,
I like my meat medium rare. I mean, it's good, especially when you get a good cook.
Oh yeah. I don't want to get copyright claim, but that is one of my favorite episodes of King of the Hill. I'm sorry. Yeah, and I want to talk about the Twilight Zone. There's 4 little instances in that show, and John Landis, God bless him, but like, the more I read up on that entire thing, I think he really he had a bigger hand than what the court gave him on the findings of that helicopter crash.
Yeah. Could maybe. I mean, that whole scene was just really sad. That him and those 2 children, all 3 got killed.
Was there wasn't a problem in the chat there, was there, Flatey?
No, I didn't want to interrupt while you were talking. It's just I have to head out soon. I have to get up early for work.
Okay. Well,
but this has been awesome. I really appreciate the opportunity to hang out with you guys, test the software. It's my first time using StreamYard and all that.
Well, thank you for joining us.
I
wish you would have spent more time talking about the movie, but I always do this. I'm really sorry, people. I mean,
that's the charm of the show. It just flows the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, I guess it's just a natural thing because when you talk about one thing, something else comes up, and it makes you think of this thing and then that, and you just start adding all this stuff in there, like you're sitting around your, in your living room, around the coffee table talking about whatever bullshit that's going on.
And that's why
while you're discussing sports, movies, or what swimsuit issues. I mean, whatever,
And
But
that's why I bet you that's why people come to watch. That's why I watch this whole little gaming crew. Is there's a frame, there's a structure, but there's also just this organic, natural human flow that I personally feel is missing, at least from, for some people in certain portions of their lives.
Yeah.
Modern society, for many people, not everyone, we have lost something, and these channels and the people in them and running them and performing, in my opinion, I'm not speaking for anyone but me, it just kind of provides a little bit of that quality of yesteryear and that humanity of interaction, So
I feel the same way. Since COVID, I pretty much don't watch any television. I get all my entertainment from this groups of people that I hang out with on YouTube and stuff. There's different little sections here and there, but I like cross back and forth because I like all of them because I'm in with the Geeks and Gamers, Nerdrotic, and Doomcock groups, and then ads, and then, Potato, whoever else that's into Star Trek, comic books, all, just a little of all of it because I enjoy all of it. And I like the fact that I can go from one chat to another and talk to people. And it's interesting, it keeps me entertained because it's all things that I'm interested in. So I like that.
No, that's the way it should be. Like I, met most of this through Biggest Geekers, but like what blew me away with Bruce's channel, I watched one night. I think it was you guys, and you know how YouTube is with the algorithm. You watch one thing and it sends you on a rabbit hole. So I'm working the next day, and I'm like, it says it's the same channel 13 years ago, and it's just this group of people playing at a table, and that's when I realized, like, Bruce has this huge, rich library of just human interaction with a game. I mean, there's other stuff as well, but like that just blew me away. I'm like, that I find it absolutely hands down beautiful and amazing. Like you could literally, it's like home movies, like I remember as a little kid, dad setting up the reel to reel. I forget which millimeter it was, but that's what we had home movies on. Yep. And it just took me back. Like it's a time capsule. Bruce has invited the world to go watch his gaming family change over a decade, more than a decade worth. It's amazing, So, but I'm gonna have to head out. Like I said, I have work in a few hours. But this has been amazing. I really appreciate it.
Dude, thank you for coming. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for hanging out with us. It's nice. I really do think that we should, at least, invite whoever brings up a movie that we haven't seen or whatever, or wants us to watch it and we get to watch it. They should get to come and join us and talk about it because I just think that because they suggested it because it inspired them in some way,
Yeah, I didn't expect you to actually do it. If had I known by throwing up a couple bucks, I would have picked a better movie. This is just one.
It's all right. It was fun. It was a movie neither one of us had seen before, so we both got to watch something we'd never seen. We laughed our butts off. We got to watch it together, and it was funny, and it was a good entertainment, and that's the whole thing. Isn't that why we started doing it? Is to enjoy movies, movies that we don't seem to have anymore. We don't have the same choices that we had from years ago. And what cracks me up mostly about it is the fact that I know you got to leave, but I can't help it. I like to talk. But it's the fact that if you go back and you watch this stuff, you can see so much diversity in it And then they say today, well, we're doing this and we're doing that to make it more diverse. I'm like, you're ruining it. It was diverse. And now it isn't. Now it's all woke. It's just not the same thing. So I don't understand it. To me, they just took great entertainment and they're just stripping all the enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, like this is obviously not an Oscar winner, but not everything has to be or even should be. Like I have to recommend highly for Bruce if he ever gets a chance. Puddle Cruiser.
But you got to remember too, if it's an Oscar winner and you go to like Rotten Tomatoes and it says all the people hated it, but all the other people liked it, you're not going to want to watch it.
Oh yeah, I don't
But
even.
if it's got a low rating from the big wigs and a high rating from the audience, then I'm pretty sure I'm going to like it. So,
well, I mean, that's almost every cult classic from Tron on up. Like the I hate to say it, I don't know why we have movie critics. I don't really think they serve a purpose. But the last thing I like to say on this movie before I head out, and I totally forgot, and it's only by looking up the IMDb. John Lovitz as the security guard. I can't and I just looked up how old he was. Like he was like in his 20s.
Yeah.
Just played like a B-side side character, and then years later gets his own shows and stuff. I've always liked him. I thought he was funny, but I totally forgot he was in this movie.
What movie is that?
This movie, Hamburger.
What?
John Lovitz is one of the security guards.
Oh wow! Holy shit! Like he's one of my favorite SNL guys.
Yeah, he's much underrated.
Yeah, and I'm okay with going for an underdog like that. But man, that makes me so fucking happy because like this movie has almost 0 star power in it.
Yeah, you got Dick Buckus. That's basically it.
That's it.
The names are also awesome, like Dr. Gotbottom.
Yes. This was a great movie. We will watch another recommendation here in 2 weeks, unless Janet's like just gonna jump on one and like, I want to get another. But like I'm
well, a couple weeks back, maybe it was almost a month ago. Remember, I sent you a couple pictures on Discord, and I said I really want to watch this movie again.
You're talking about The Fifth Element?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
next week,
I've been having I don't know why, just like Galaxy Quest, I kept thinking of little things that remind me of it, and I really enjoyed watching Galaxy Quest again. It was like, it's just really fun. It was a fun movie, and I'm having I don't know why, I'm thinking about it more, and for little things are reminding me of it, so I want to watch it again. So it's been a while, it's been a little while since I've seen it, but it's a good movie. Maybe it was because I saw all those videos of Bruce Willis from his birthday, and his family was showing him after he got diagnosed with that disorder that makes it where you can't remember who he is and things like that. I can't remember what it's called, but maybe that's why I've been thinking about it more to watch it, because it was one of my favorite movies that he was in besides Die Hard stuff. So maybe that's why I want to watch it, but I'd still want to watch it.
Fair enough.
So is that okay with you?
With me?
Mm-hmm. And it's sci-fi too. It's going back towards my favorite genre, which is sci-fi. So
that's one of my not favorite movies, but it is a Luc Besson movie, and I love the world around Luc Besson.
Yeah.
So I will be more than happy to talk about it, and I will be happy to watch it. It's in its entirety. I'll put the notes up on YouTube and Discord when we'll be watching it in the watch party room.
Good.
So,
I hope that people will do it, because I try to. I've done a couple just voice chats. I went in there and I'll say, "Hey, I'm going to be doing in the voice chat, listen to music and stuff. Anybody wants to come and hang out, they can." But I forget that I'm in Central Time, and if you're in California, then you're probably at work or who knows what you're doing. So I gotta somehow stretch myself out and make myself stay up till 8 o'clock my time, so other people will be in. But then people on the, it just it's hard because you got people from this coast and that coast, and they don't always mash when you're one.
just
do stuff.
watch, just seriously, just watch the film, and or just set up a time to where we make ourselves available, and if the people can make it, they can make it. And if they can't, we understand that. That's fine.
Yeah.
I would love to be more Aussie stream, because I've got some friends in Australia that are just fucking just hellraisers, but
Yeah.
I can't stay up that late. And you know, my hours, I can only do this for like 3 or 4 hours a night. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Me too. I at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:15, I start hearing rooster crowing. So it means it's time to wake up.
But Flatey, dude, that is one of the highest paid compliments I've ever heard, man. When I was a young kid, I wanted to be a journalist, and that's why I went in the Navy, because they had a JO school that I was supposed to go to. That got put by the woodshed and burned. But I went over to the service and was going to be a journalist. I did a lot of home movies on board the USS Defender, which I think QMC still has those. And we did newscasts and all sorts of shit. But that was something that I always used to talk about when I started playing games in Central Illinois. I'm like, dude, why don't we videotape these? We could have a whole library full of a campaign, and who wouldn't want that? And everybody looks at me like, are you fucking serious? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, you're an idiot. One of these days, we're not going to be here. And our family could see this and be like, they're actually having fun. I've never seen this side of them. I've never seen, my son enjoying himself, or I've never seen my daughter having, a good time, or and if they look, yeah, you're right. I've got 13 years. There's some absent years there, sorry, but I've got some time where people were hanging out and they were just enjoying themselves, bros being bros, girls being just little geek girls, and just in the moment enjoying themselves the way they should. And I think that, gaming, it shouldn't, I shouldn't be demonetized by YouTube, because somebody said a poo-poo word, but I might have videos in my library where people might find them a little problematic. And I don't give a shit. I absolutely don't. That was something that was said unscripted, and it was said in a moment, and that's exactly what fell out of their mouth, and it needs to stay.
For me, they've been background while working sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you never get in trouble. That's all I ask. But I hope that whatever happens on stream, it doesn't distract from you, or it doesn't cause you to have a reaction to where when your coworker's like, "What are you doing?" and they start recording.
No, we're headsets on, pretty isolated now. But normally I listen to my gaming stuff or my politics or some comedy, or one of my books or my music. But when I found, I guess they call them playthroughs, I got hooked. I'm like, like I'll listen to Max a lot. Like I think I've listened to the episode on Rift's Combat like 4 times while working, just hoping that I'll get more of the rules ingrained while I'm taking care of business. But sometimes you just want to hear like some people just playing and being happy, and without all the drama of today's everything, without going into all that mess. And it's a beautiful thing. And I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life, but you ever get a chance to hit those clips up again, even just for a few minutes? I found them amazing. I think you would as well, if and when you have time.
Sure. I love listening to Max, and whenever they're talking about the rules and such of a game, sometimes it gets a little dry, but I do watch a lot of the old streams from the Deer Creek, and that's where you have a lot of, either it's at the game store that was in downtown Washington, or my home, where I had an apartment which the front room could seat 24 people, but I only had 9 around a table, and so I could do that. And that was something that I felt was really important. And a friend of mine was like, "Why are you doing this?" I'm like, nobody else is. And this is a brand new game. Even though it's based on 3.5, nobody knows how to play Pathfinder. And when I first uploaded the first video of us playing, we got 4,000 hits within the first month. That video has not grown at all since 2009. And it's kind of sad. But that's when YouTube realized, oh, Christian conservative, demonetized, delist, get him out of there, and that kind of happens. And I kind of accept that. And now that I've got this alternative method to just go to Rumble and stream, like me and Janet did streams the past 2 weekends, we have over 400 views on each time we've gotten in front of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube,
we don't have very many people following us, so that means that total strangers are watching it. People that don't even know us.
So I'm looking forward to getting more acquainted with Rumble, and as long as they don't mind a 9-hour stream, a live stream popping on, I'll be more than happy to put it over there, because I know that they seem to back up free speech, and they understand that sometimes people say things and like, well, if a bot hears it, you're going to get your channel scrubbed. Well, they don't really give a shit at Rumble, and I like that.
And that's the way it all should be. I mean, I think companies should have some freedom to do what they want, but there should be just some basis of normalcy somewhere. But like I said, I'm gonna have to head out as soon as I figure out how to get out of this thing. But
forever.
Would it be the red X leaves?
Yes.
Studio?
Says leave studio.
So just be safe, everyone. Game on, and I hope everyone has a great night. And like I said, I really do appreciate it, and thank you very much. And I'll catch up with you guys later in the week.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for being here, man.
Anytime. Bye-bye.
Means a lot, sir. I don't know. I think I'm going to cry, because like that seriously like hit me in the feels, because like there's people that were at my table and they're not in the same shape anymore. They're not able to get around. They're not able to do stuff like they were. And in a few years, they'll be gone.
That's why I'm sad a little bit that people are taking pictures on their phones, okay, or their computers and stuff. They no longer have photo albums, and they don't have lots of pictures on the wall. I have, I am so eclectic. People get one of my sisters absolutely hates the way I am. Like, you've seen pictures in my office, right, of all my lithographs and stuff. It's just crammed everywhere. But every time I look at anything, it makes me feel something. It's like I go, oh, I love this picture, or that one's sad, or whatever. And I have all down my hallway. I have like collages of pictures of just from when I was a little baby up until today, that type of stuff, just all crammed together with my mom, my uncles, my grandparents, just everybody. And it makes me feel good. I walk down the hallway and I'm drinking my coffee, and I can just look at them, and I'm right in that memory, and I just wish more people had that opportunity. And I tell them, just print pictures off your phone, print them out, put them in little frames, and have them sitting around, and just change them out. Change them out when you get tired of them. And they're like, well, I got digital stuff. And I go, but you never look at them. What good is a picture if you don't get to see it? I got to go when my mom passed, and we found 2 boxes in the closet. One of them was like an old sewing box. We found a whole bunches of pictures in them. And some of them had writing on the back and had dates. And I've been working on heritage.com. And a lot of people are going to, say, don't send your DNA in or whatever. But it's too late. Okay. It was like 4 years ago, I did the Heritage DNA kit. And I found out a whole bunch of stuff about my dad's side of the family that nobody knew, because my dad would say, I don't remember. That's what he said all the time. But I found out I got a whole buttload of relatives in Nova Scotia, in Gorham, Maine, and all up in New England. And my mom's whole family is from Denton, Texas, Oklahoma. My great grandmother on my mom's side was raised in the Indian reservation, stuff like that. But I wouldn't have known, because a lot of these people I didn't get to meet. They passed. Found all kinds of old historical documents and all kinds of things. It's just really, really interesting. And I've been making a scrapbook from it. So, I'm glad I did it, because I think it's really cool. And, I think I told you, Bruce, that they caught the Golden State Killer by using family DNA. And they put the DNA in, and they got a couple hits, and they were like up a couple, generations away. And they slowly, would go to find these people research and find out where they were and go through their trash and do a DNA test. And it said, nah, it's not that person. So they'd go to the next person, the next person, the next person. Finally, guess what? They caught him. And that's how they caught this guy that had been murdering people for over 20 years. You know, he's the one that would go in and he wanted to rape the wife, and he would tie up the husband and the wife, and he'd hog tie the husband and put like teacups and stuff on his back and tell him if he knocks this over, then he's going to kill her, you know. And then he would kill him anyways. He killed both of them, but the people didn't know it at the time. So it was like really horrendous. It was a horrible person. And they finally caught him. I don't think they've gone to court yet, but, you know, he was as bad as BTK. So, you know, if me putting my DNA in there catches some serial killer down the road, great. You know, that's how I feel about it. They're going to get your DNA if they want it or not. You know, you don't have to.
They've got my DNA. They've got my DNA so many fucking times. Like when they found out that I had chicken pox in the Navy, that was like a turning point for the examination. And like they started, like they got so many syringes of my blood, it was crazy. And it was the second time I had chicken pox, which was what made it weird, because most of the time you get chicken pox once and that's it. Well, no, I got it the second time in the service. And then after that, another doctor saw me 3 months later after I cleared up from chicken pox. I went out with a stripper from the mine shaft, this little place in Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
A good place to go, I might add. But we went out and ended up on the beach and got zoster strain herpes. Like, joy, this is awesome. You guys get my entire HIPAA resume here. But like, we were on the beach and had fun, and like we had some friends from the boat that I was on, and she had some of her friends from work, and so we kind of did some things. It's natural. That's what you do. And I got herpes from one of the girls, or maybe one of my shipmates. I don't know, but like, because everybody's in close proximity, and when we wake up, we're all in kind of a pig pile because we all snuggled into each other into a spoon fork formation in the morning. I remember because Becky, her name was Becky, she was on my back, and I made sure that I was snugged up, had a woman behind me. That's just what you do. You don't, you know, that I had my girl curled up into my chest, and Becky was behind me. She had her back to my back. It was great. Nobody had any dick going in their butt. It was awesome. And I was so happy. But then like a week later, not even a week later, what the fuck is this bump? And so I go see another doctor, and it's, oh, this is zoster strain herpes. You've been hanging out on the mine shaft? Yeah. Well, one of our other shipmates came back there for 3 weeks ago. So all of a sudden, NAS and Naval Station Ingleside put a moratorium, no more mine shaft. Can't go to the mine shaft. Can't get cuddles from the girls that give you the bumps.
Yeah.
That was bad.
I bet guys still went, even though they weren't supposed to.
They always do. They always do.
Yeah, I figured they would.
I've lived a fun life. I'll just say that. I'm not ready to kick off any means, but I'm just telling you, like, I've had fun, and I didn't mean to have this much fun. There's like a point where God's like, you're having too much fun. Here's your cancer, and I don't want to go there. I don't want to get to that point, because God does that sometimes. I mean, He's like, oh,
yeah, but there's a lot of people that die from cancer that didn't even know they had it because they never had any symptoms, so they never went to the doctor for any, you know, problems or anything. You know what I mean? So, you know, you could be one of them people. I mean, that's what I hope. I hope that when I do die, I die fast in my sleep or whatever, and I don't drain, you know, all the hard work from the rest of my family to have to pay for any treatments or things like that to just try to keep me alive for a few more months or whatever. I don't want it that. I'd rather not know about it. And if I did get diagnosed with something, I probably wouldn't tell anyone. If it was something that nobody could do anything about, and just try to live my life the best I could in the time I had left. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if I'd want to burden people with it.
Well, if that ever happens, we need to make a meetup and like hang out and go watch a shitty movie at the theater. That way we can do that one thing for real.
Something fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to go hang out with Reaper Miniatures, you know, or something like that. I don't give a shit, but you know, I'm sorry. Reaper Miniature Con sounds so much better than Comic Con. Fight me.
One of the things that I really wanted to do, it was because a drunk 3PO was talking about it one year about going to Universal Studios, and they do a real fun stuff down there for Halloween. So that would be something I would love to do, because you know how I am. I love to dress up, get all dressed up and hang out for Halloween at Universal Studios. I think that would be really fun. And that would be something we could all do, different live streams for our channel with the same people. But like we'll say, okay, we're going to be on Flavy's channel, or we're going to be on Bruce's channel. Now we're going to be on Jana's channel. Now we're going to be on, Shadow and Son's channel, or, we just get people singing and just to go do stuff and pick a ride, and we go ride it and do it live, and everybody gets to hear us screaming. And
did you hear that? Did you hear that, guys? Janet said we're going to do it live. We're going to do it live. Fuck it. Fuck it. We're going to do it live. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah. So I just think it would be fun, because it'd be all natural, it'd be, and the people watching get to basically go through it with you, because you're doing it live. Who knows what's going to happen? You know what I mean? I think it'd be great.
I would
take my GoPro with my straps. I got straps. I got a head strap, and I got my the one that you wear on your chest so you can ride bikes or motorcycles and stuff, and your selfie stick and all that, and just go and take a bunch of extra batteries and see what you end up with. I think it'd be fun.
It makes for a fun video for people to discover your YouTube channel 20 years after you pass.
It's like you said, in 10 years, 12 years from now, a few of us might not be here. And then you can go back and watch it and say, God, we had so much fun. Thank goodness we took that video, because,
Yeah. That sounds like a
memories,
bucket list.
Yeah.
It sounds like a bucket list item.
Now, everyone should have a bucket list and try to mark things off of it, I think. Because you just don't know. You never know, because tomorrow isn't promised to anybody,
That's true. I mean, I've been talking to Flady and other people from our friends over at Legion of Myths channel for over a year. And this is the first time I've had a conversation with the guy. He's really nice, laid back, down to earth individual. And I would love to have another, like, Discord is built for that. Like, you just have chats. You just have a night where you like open up the general chat, and it's either camera on or camera off, but get your voice in there, and everybody just talks, and just you like, we've all been hanging out for 2 years and never heard some of you guys, and if you want to talk about things, open your yap and go. Just get in there and do it.
See, that's why I like why I'm on Spaces on Twitter. I don't know, I haven't seen the people live in person or on video or anything. You have their picture or their avatar, but to be able to have a voice that you recognize. So if you did go somewhere, and have a meet and greet, you go, I hear something. I hear someone, and I know that person. It sounds like so-and-so, and you go over there and you get to see them because you have a voice already. So when you get to hear it, because, most people's voices are unique to them, someone might resemble them a little bit, but, your voice definitely separates you from other people. So you'd be able to tell, oh my God, I know it's hard to believe that that's what you look like, that kind of thing. Because I remember how excited I was getting to watch the Nerdrotic the first time that all of them went to Vegas and did their little deal, and all the videos were coming out, and we got to see how little comics division was. I was surprised, because watching him sitting at his desk, he just looked like a tall guy, like a biker or something, a big gruff guy is what I pictured him as. And then when I saw all these little videos coming out, I was like, he's a little guy, he's not that big. And they came out with, I think it was Parrot had made a couple videos, and it had these two guys, cops, walk out, and then you see this little dwarf guy come out after them, and it's got comics heads on it, and stuff. See, that's gold, that's this gold that later on, 10 years from now, when we get to watch it, you're just going to laugh, because you're like, I remember when that happened, when we did that. And that's, that's fun, because when people make fun of you or poke fun at you like that type of thing, that's almost like a badge of honor, basically. because people only make fun or take that kind of time out for someone that they care about. I mean, unless they're a troll and they just want to hurt people. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when your friends do that kind of stuff with you.
We do have a troll in our chat. We do have Jeremy, who is a happy troll. And Brooke, don't ban Janet. Don't ban or silence Jeremy. He's that's what he does. He trolls, and he's harmless. He's not hurting people. He's not causing problems.
Yeah.
I enjoy him. He's a good kid, and we do that. And the thing is that like it. God, that's such a open door of conversation. Like the 13 years that you might put on YouTube, like what would you put on? I put on all the times at the table I could. And then once I got to where I was recording things with phones, like, there's some time where like I was recording with a phone with a cracked lens, my bad, but you can still listen to it. And so if you want to, you can. I've gone back and listened to those. Some of those still stand up. Some of those sessions are great. And then there's others where like, my God, I can see why this got 17 views. I get it, but there's some real gold. And you guys, I know this sounds weird where I tell you, just turn on your microphone and just record people talking and shit, but upload it to somewhere, not YouTube, upload it to your own private library or whatever you've got, and do that, because you might not know what's going to happen tomorrow, and somebody you love might not be here in a year. So you'll be doing your thing, just going through your daily rhythm. And if you're like Flatey is, where he listens to these chats online, while he works, all of a sudden, he might hear somebody's voice that like I haven't heard them for a while. I picked up a video 3 years ago when I was home, and it was my grandma, and I haven't heard her voice since 2016. She died then, and I'm like, it's just one of those things. That was the first time I've heard her voice since. And then my cousin Rachel, who has a tattoo, a sound wave of a tattoo, and whenever they scan it, you can hear the recording of my grandma on my cousin's arm. Now, I'm sure that as Rachel gets older,
it's amazing.
But my cousin Rachel, you haven't seen my family and my dad's side, God bless him, but we are not meant to be skinny people. The skin will deteriorate and it will stretch, and my grandma's voice will get ruined, much like a Betamax tape left out in the sun. It's not going to be good. And I'm just, I don't want to besmirch her. I don't want to have my cousin do that again in like 20 years when the skin is stretched out and my cousin has gained weight and then lost weight, because that's what her entire family does. They they blimp up with childbearing, and then like in their 40s they go down to 120 pounds. That's all they all do. And it's going to cause some tearing, some sound distortion. And I know that sounds kind of mean or whatever, but I just, like, we have tapes, we have digital media. You didn't need to do that to yourself. That's me. But my cousin, she wanted to remember her grandmother, and she was there. My grandma was there when my cousin was born, and Rachel was there at the moment of her death. And, she just felt like that was something she had to do for her. Okay, that's cool.
Sorry, I had to blow my nose again.
Everybody, next week we will be discussing the movie. If you didn't hear before, Janet has been wanting to see The Fifth Element.
Fifth Element,
Directed by Luc Besson and Bruce Willis, a bunch of other people. Gary Oldman's in it, and it's an amazing film. It's not my favorite Luc Besson movie, but it's a good Luc Besson movie because he doesn't really make sense.
It's a fun movie.
It is. It's just like the least watched movie that he made that I've watched. And I actually think I'm going to have to add another movie to my list of upcoming films, because he made a movie back in 2013 or 14, and I didn't see it. And that was Valerian, the City of a Thousand Planets. And that is based on a comic book from the Brits that
Yeah.
George Lucas used to base Star Wars or be inspired by Star Wars, be inspired for and create Star Wars. And that is a old set of stories. And I know that a lot of people didn't like Valerian, City of a Thousand Planets, but I want to see it because it's Luc Besson, and I've never been disappointed by him. So I'll be adding that to our list here soon. But we're at 2 hours and 20 minutes, and our guest had to leave for work. We will be on Rumble Sunday night. Let me get the channel in the chat. Hold on. Janet, do you have anything going on here anytime this week?
Well, I finally got my Rumble set up. Finally figured out how to do that, and I put a couple videos on there that are just going to be on there. So I'm trying to I don't know, I'm going to try to figure something out to do. I'm thinking I might just start reading my story and just only putting it over there and doing my little live streams, reading my book out loud, and then putting that over there until I figure out what else I want to do. Because remember, when I first started, I was never going to do live streams and stuff. I was just going to do my little shorts and not worry about it. But I kept getting hounded. So I finally just said, okay, I guess I can do a couple live streams or whatever. But I'm just don't feel, up to doing an hour-long streams or anything like that on mine, because it just isn't. I haven't figured out what I want to do on there, So I'm just not going to until I figure it out. And plus, I'm not doing it to get monetized or get famous or anything like that. I do it because I want to do something fun and relaxing, and something I enjoy. You have to have 4,000 hours of view time, and you have to have 1,000 subscribers, basically, to go to become. Well, I have over 600 videos on my YouTube channel, and I have maybe 80 hours of view time, over a year. So, because I do shorts, I do little tiny 30-second, 45-second videos, and I'd have to have millions and millions and millions of views on every single one of them to be able to get the watch time hours that they say, because they're shorts. So that's one reason why I'm just not going to worry about trying to do something particular or whatever to get a whole bunch of views or get a whole bunch of subscribers. And I don't ask people to subscribe. I've never asked in any of my videos, hey, like me and subscribe to my channel. I haven't done it because my videos are so short that the whole 30 seconds of my video at the beginning would be me saying, hey, subscribe and like my channel. And then by then they're clicking through it. They're not going to watch it, the whole thing. And then, they don't see the video that I wanted them to see, something funny or goofy or, whatever it is that popped in my head that day to do. So that's why I don't worry about it. Just if they like me, then they'll come back tomorrow and want to watch it or be subscribed so their video just pops up and they can watch it. So just not that worried about it. I do it for me. I do it because I like it. It's fun.
Apparently, I have two channels. I have two channels on Rumble. They both feed into the same thing. But I have the Den of America's Dungeon Master, because I used to call myself that back in 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
I was the first person that I knew that I watched to start running Pathfinder live streams. And I'm not patting myself on the back, but there's a lot of stuff on here that made its way from YouTube. Now, not everything comes over from YouTube, sad face. Yeah. But then I also have my Your Buddy 75 channel, and that seems to be where my live streams take place. And I'm just going to say that if anybody here wants to be a streamer, if you want to have stuff to talk about and you don't mind going to Rumble and learning the system of how to put things on, you have the opportunity to have pretty much basically you don't have an algorithm fucking you over. This right here is me and Janet talking about child sex trafficking, and we have 329 views there.
That's great.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
Uh-huh.
We did a paint and chill. Last week, 526 views. Some of the stuff is falling from my YouTube channel. The political grab bag from last Sunday, 419 views. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I'm showing you guys, like, here's a video that made its way over from YouTube, 4 views. 3 views for the Paint and Chill Tucker Out at Carlson, something. But when I streamed that same thing, these were simulcast stream, and I had Omen Owl on here, 688 views. I'm
That's
just saying,
really
like,
good, I think.
yeah, and I've hit the freaking first page on. I hit the splash page on Rumble a couple times over the weekend. I'm not trying to do that. I don't. I like being a plumber more than I like being an influencer. Okay, but I'm just trying to tell you guys, if you want a world that doesn't believe in fucking over you because you have cis white gender ideas and you like women with big old titties because you have a big dick, or you had a big dick and now you're on blue pills, or maybe you just don't care, and maybe you have opinions about things, but you want to have a normal life, I wouldn't suggest streaming on YouTube. I wouldn't, because Fox News is over there throwing a ton of money trying to get views, since nobody will buy cable to watch Fox News and Fox Nation, especially since Tucker Carlson was seen dissing Fox Nation, and rightly so, because the app sucks. Fox News, take it down, let a 13-year-old fucking programmer work on it. It'll be fine and fixed. You just got to pay him in Fortnite dollars. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
And it just pisses me off, and people are asking me, like, oh, are you and Janet ever going to talk about Steven Crowder? No. That guy had personal shit. I'm sure that was not supposed to be seen by the rest of us. Secondly, when he was in the backyard sitting down while his wife, who was pregnant, mowed the lawn, he was recovering from a lung injury. His lungs collapsed. They had to install like plates and braces so he can have the breathe in, breathe out that we take so much for granted. Mm-hmm. I'm not a real big individual on Steven Crowder. I really don't like.
The thing is, too, though, is that when you take something out of context,
exactly,
unless you have like 5 or 6 videos in a row, over a month or something like that, showing more context of what's going on in the situation, it's not fair to just take a few snippets out and base someone's whole life on that. See, I don't agree with doing something like that. I don't know him. I mean, I've seen a couple of his episodes and stuff, but I haven't really followed him. Just like Tucker, I like some of Tucker's shows that he's done, and I think they're entertaining or whatever, and they're informative. But I don't know how many kids he has. I don't know how long he's been married. I'm not diving in head first to find out all this information about something. So, to me, it's just, it's entertainment, and that's what I look at it as. And unless that entertainer is related to somebody I know, or it's been my friend since childhood or something like that, I really do not, spend lots of time outside of watching whatever show it is, or whatever movie they're on, or TV series or whatever. I don't really spend any more time than that doing stuff, looking into them, or, fawning over them, or whatever you want to call it. So, but, I like this. I like doing this because it's fun. And, I never expected to have anybody watching us. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I wasn't expecting it to be this much fun and this interactive and stuff, because, I didn't know what to think about it. I'd never done it before. So, but I like it. It's fun. I enjoy it.
I knew you'd be a natural at it. And there was a point in time where I was thinking that I needed to find a soft counterpart to be able to stream with. My wife appreciates me doing this because it keeps me from bugging her for sex. And so, she's like, it's scheduled. We do this at our own time, not whenever you want, whenever I want. Go stream, go have fun, play Fortnite with your friends, beat up on 12-year-olds, go have fun. And she's like that.
That's good. I mean, that's what's one of the things I talk about when I talk about relationships is when you're in a relationship, your relationship be stronger, I feel, if each of you have your own passions, and you don't stifle that. You don't say, well, I don't want you playing golf anymore, or I don't want you playing baseball, or I don't want you fishing, or I don't want you doing that. I just think that's ridiculous, because why were you attracted to the person in the first place? All the things that you do and you're involved in is what makes who you are, right? So if you start taking out all the stuff that I don't like you being there because it takes away time from me, we should be doing something together, blah, 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 blah. And the next thing you know, you're looking at each other going, why am I with this person? You know what I mean?
I was with a woman who wanted me to stop gaming. And that's a reason why for a year I didn't pick up dice. And I absolutely hated that. And I didn't enjoy being with her. And I didn't like being with her kid. I mean, her kid's a fine kid. You know, he's like 18 now. And I hope he goes far in life. She didn't go far. She made a lot of mistakes. And then she, thought she could get over on some big fire chief captain in Peoria. And the guy had like 7 kids from other women, so like she only made out at the very end when the kid turned 17 and all the other baby mamas fell off the dole. That was when she got her big money. And then like the kid turned 18, oh, that's cut off. Oh my God, my friends told me that was a great day to be around, like, just because the eternal scowl she has on, because she thought she was going to make money. Her kid's great. She made the kid for the wrong reason. And she was just a very much unlikable slag. And I saw something else with her, and I was mistaken. I gave a year of my life to somebody I shouldn't have. And this wife here, like this is a great relationship. She lets me play my games. She
lets you be you, and you let her be her, and that's why it works. See, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say, is that when you get with somebody and you do nothing but try to change who they are, then why are you with them? Why did you get with them in the first place? Try to go back and think about what attracted you to that person in the first place, and get that back. Take back what made you guys a couple in the first place, and you'll start realizing, wow, we've been missing out, because this is what our relationship is supposed to been like since the beginning, and we've let it just fall to the wayside because we started demanding each of us stuff from each other that changes who you are in the dynamics of your relationship. And that's why I think so many people end up getting separated and stuff, is because they start almost immediately trying to change the person they were with, because, I don't like him hanging with other women. If he's going to be at the gym and see all those women, I don't want him going, so it's like, that's how you met him, whatever, type of thing. So to me, it's just dumb to just expect the person to not be the person that you want to be with. Now they're not the person you want to be with, because now you're not with them. It's just, I don't know. That's common sense to me. I just think people lack common sense today compared to what, 20 years ago or more. Maybe it's longer. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like, you're listening to these people talking about something that they're in the middle of it. You're like thinking in the back of your head going, I can't believe that I'm friends with this person this long and I'm just now finding this out, that type of thing. But, nobody's perfect too. That's another thing, is that no one's perfect. And when you think, well, I'm so much better than this person, I deserve better. I mean, really? Do they? Or do you deserve better? I mean, how do you treat that person? Start looking off before you start throwing the other person off the bus, type of thing. That's what I tell people.
And I just put in the chat, for those of you who want to follow Janet and support a platform that loves you, it doesn't hate you. At least it doesn't try to, take money out of like what your hobby account. Go follow Janet on Rumble. I put the link in the chat. And
it's shorter. Travis said Janet needs a shorter name. I had the very first channel I ever went on was Ahmed Fate's channel. He was the very first person I ever did an interview with or anything. And he tagged me as JFAP. it was, I thought that was pretty cool. So it worked pretty good. What's so funny?
Whenever I hear the word FAP, all I think of is masturbation. And
It's JFAP, Janet from Another Planet. So
okay.
I thought it was pretty good.
I wasn't that smart. I didn't hear that. I heard.
JFAP. That's what it is. So it's typical me. It just went right over my head. I had no idea what you're talking about. So, but I do now. So now my eyes are open to that. But no, I just be myself.
I really appreciate you being on this, Janet. This is like probably the second time you've heard it this month. But I really enjoy these chats we do, you and I. And you don't get upset that I'd rather paint miniatures and have the camera focus on that.
No, I mean, I want us to be relaxed and talk about something we like. And that's what makes, to me, what I think is what makes it special is that we're being ourselves, and we're being honest because we don't agree about everything. I mean, half the time we don't even agree on that one likes a movie and the other doesn't. So, but it works because we're being honest and we're just stating the facts about what we think is crap or good, and I think that's great. I wish we had more people that were able to sit down and talk about things like this with other people and have disagreements, but not be wanting to go out and let's do a duel, we each get one bullet and it's going to be over, it's like, I don't know. People just take everything so personal and I don't know. It just seems sad to me that more people can't just sit and try to discuss things and ask questions like me. And I know I'm irritating to some people because I do ask lots of questions, but that's because I want to understand why certain things are going on or why it's happening. And to me, the only way I can understand it is if I ask the questions and try to write things down and go back and I can look at it 4 or 5 times and going, okay, well, that makes sense. So
I think it's great you ask questions, and I'm going to ask you to be in every campaign I run. I know you won't be able to hit all of them, but I'm really digging it, and the fact that the reason, you're not going to be a new player forever, and that's fine. But I just see your evolution in gaming. You are going to turn into that Joanna that so many of us in the chat know who I'm talking about from the Gamers Part 2 Darkness Rising, because she played the game with such heart and soul. She was the audience character, but she was the person that made the ultimate good decision in the end that really just tied everything together. And I really appreciate you playing our game. This Saturday we're running a game, Janet. So be more than happy to acquiesce. I know you got things that you have to take care of, like you have to run out and take care of chickens sometime. You have to do the
I was able to do that. I'd do my rolls or whatever, then I'd say I'll be right back. I'm gonna go do this or whatever, and then I come back and I'm
Chris does the same thing.
And then I try to read, the chat, in the back chat and stuff like that to make sure that I didn't miss anything. And then when you're explaining stuff about what's happening at the time, if I don't know all the details, like what we did last time, when I said, when I asked about, if there any magic in this room, and you was like, yeah, all this, it's got something. And I was like, I think we should all just leave. That's what I said, because that was my gut feeling. And man, I was right. Well, it ended up being a real big fight, but that's why we have a team. And if we each talk about, say, well, I have an uneasy feeling about it, or I don't think this is good. I think we need to try something. Let's all go back and send in a probe, or whatever. Somehow figure something out, because we got to find out if it's even worth going in there. Risking someone dying for one piece of gold, whatever. But we don't know until we go in and find out. But it's supposed to be a team effort, so if everybody's asking questions and stuff, then the team has more information and they'll say, yeah, it's not worth it. Let's just go back to town or whatever. So I like that.
I love having you in the game because you get along with all my players. Everybody that I know says, "Who's the lady that just started to play?" That's Janet from Another Planet. Okay, I love Janet, and I've gotten that compliment about 5 or 7 times. I've had people. There have been people that have came to you, and I mean, it might be disrespectful to me or not. I don't worry about it. But they've told you, you really need to play with us, and I kind of take that as like that's not a challenge. That's a
Well,
compliment.
I told him no because I go, I'm on a team. I like where I'm at. I'm not going to leave. But
But
because
I'm
I
just
want to
saying.
stay. I like where I'm at. I feel like I'm growing. I'm learning more. I'm building relationships with my team, and I look at you as a team. You know what I mean? That's how from the very beginning, I said that's what I wanted. I wanted a person, a character that could learn spells because I think the magic part of it is really exciting to me. And I want to be able to do good things with it. I want to be able to help other people, even people that aren't on our team. If I go to a town and they've been devastated, be able to heal people or help them rebuild or grow food. Things like that. But I also want to be able to embolden my players. Like some of the new spells that I just got, was so excited about it, is that I could cast it on one of my teammates and help them and make them 3 times as strong, or be able to not be burnt by acid or gas or be frozen to death, things like that. I think it's really cool and fun to be able to do that, knowing that somebody is a really good warrior fighter, that now they can go right up and fight the dragon and not be burnt to death by the acid. You see, little things like that, I think is just really, really interesting. And the fact that I know that I have one, I can only do one action because I'm not that big of a powerful character yet, but that I can actually help one of my other players that are higher up be able to be more kick-ass because I won a little spell I was able to use. And that's how I look at, what I'm able to offer the team. And that's what I like.
Well,
It's fun to me.
the only there is going to be Chris will be gone, and I think Mindy's going to be gone this weekend too. But everybody else is already committed, so I'm going to
Yeah, I don't have any plans except for playing. There's only been one time that I missed, and the whole thing all day long I'm thinking, it sure seems like we're supposed to be playing today, but I didn't get any notifications or anything. And I was like, well, oh well, I'll find something else to do. So I was doing laundry and I was just, him-hawing around the house. And then my little light went off on my phone and it said that you were live. And I was like, I wonder what he's doing. So I clicked on it and I was like, are you guys playing? Am I supposed to be playing this? And you were like, yeah. No, what? I just now got a notification. So half the time I don't get any notifications. I don't know why. It's weird. It's still today. I mean, I know you have it, but my phone didn't beep to tell me that we're going to go live here in 30 minutes or whatever. So I don't know. It's just weird. It's like YouTube just doesn't like my character or something. I don't know what it is. Twitter too. It's the same thing with Twitter. There's a lot of stuff that I don't get on Twitter that everybody else I know on there gets. It's like they don't like what I have to say. So
there's a notification problem with YouTube, and they know it. They don't do anything about it, and I don't know why. But YouTube needs to one of these days fix their notification squad to where whenever people do go live or they do something, the fans, followers, people that are they have the bell clicked. It's not like that, So we only have the audience we have because of the fact we're regular. We tell people what's going on. We let people know. I try to plan my videos ahead in advance, and that way people can set up like, okay, well, let me know when this is starting, and that kind of is okay, but if you have if you're relying on the bell, no, you're not going to be happy with the results.
I just read Travis's post, and it says Janet needs a shorter name because it blocks the goods. I didn't realize what he wrote on there, so I was like, okay, all right. He's just wanting to see my cleavage.
I think most men and some ladies really appreciate.
Well, I'm showing it because I wanted people to see it because I was supposed to be this. I was emulating the counselor, on the movie.
One of the
college.
finest
I wanted to have sex with one of the students. And she's wearing the white coat and the scarf and everything. So that's what I was trying to do.
If you've not seen this movie, I recommend it. I really do. This is a fun movie. It'll take you back in time. It'll make you think like, wow, there was a time when America didn't have shitty comedies. And it's a really good comedy. It does its job. And
yeah, it's a sex comedy is what it says. It's a teen sex comedy. It's got lots of sexual innuendos, lots of boobies, a few butts, that you get to see, fellatio. I mean, it's got all kinds of innuendos in it, and simulated sex or whatever you want to call. So
I love the guy that the Hispanic guy that he goes down on Mrs. Balk. I love him.
He's on his knees, and that whole scene, I was just really shocked when that whole scene just shocked me because I could not believe that they did that in a movie. Because I still can't believe they did it in a movie, even though I saw him do it. But when he's under the table and they dive under the table to hide from that one guy, and he looks over and he sees her, and she doesn't have her legs crossed. She's just got her legs separated. And he's like, she's not wearing any underwear. And he's got that excitement like a little 10-year-old boy in a candy store. And then he goes, I'm diving in. And then you see his head go between her legs, and you see her eyes get big. And then she starts making those faces and stuff. And then she starts breaking out with a sweat. Her chest is covered, dripping with sweat and everything. And she's moaning. And then she's eating food, licking on the bones and everything. It just was so obscene. Even though it's not a porn, it was visually, it could have been a porn. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I thought it was
a good job.
Because you and I watched it together. We were laughing our butt off. It was a funny scene. It was really funny. So if you haven't seen this movie, you need to watch it, people. I think you'll enjoy it. At least you get a good laugh out of it.
Watched it yesterday. It was funny and lots of boobs.
Yeah, lots of boobs. That's exactly. And we try to be honest when we're telling you guys about them, what we see or what we got out of it. So, if you watch it and you laugh, it was worth it. You know what I mean? So you got what you wanted out of it.
I recommend. I would say it's a solid 7 to 7.5 out of 10. If you've got a dick, you probably like this movie more than most women.
I don't have one, but I thought I'd give it a 7 too. But you got to remember, when you have what I have, I can get all of what you have anytime I want. Right? So there you go.
One more reason why we love you, Janet. We're going to need to get shirts started for Janet from Another Planet. Good, dirty, wholesome fun.
Yeah.
Everybody,
it was fun.
Janet, you have your new Rumble account set up. Do you have anything else that you're putting up this week?
No, not yet. I'm just gonna probably, if I can just go a day without being stuffed up, I'd like to go live on my Rumble and read some more of my book. That's what I want to do.
Okay.
But we'll see.
We'll see what happens. Next
right
Sunday,
now I'm so stuffed up I can't even breathe, basically.
On my Rumble stream next week, I will be starting off. We will be doing on Sunday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. That means 1900 for those of you DD214 fuckers. Okay, you will be invited to come to our stream. We will have a political grab bag as we have a bunch of crap happening this weekend, and Bruce takes the shit out. We are going to discuss a lot of things, including Title 42 and its expiration, and how will that affect me in the city of the Alamo City. So, Janet, do you have anything else you'd like to say before we exit?
No, just saying thank you to everyone who came and hung out with us and laughed and got to listen to Flady get up here and talk about the movie a little bit. And it was fun. I really enjoyed it. And thank you so much for making it enjoyable. And Bruce, thank you for being such a good host.
I'm sorry if I talked over you.
No, you didn't. I talk over you all the time. Why shouldn't you be able to do it sometime too?
I
admit it. At least I'm someone that can admit that, this is one of my flaws, but that's what makes me who I am.
And
Right?
that's why I said I apologize if I talked over you, and I get it. We both do it to each other, but I just want to make sure that whenever you speak, I'm not stepping on you. That's all I
No,
want to say.
I know you're not. I think you're a wonderful person, and I think you're a good man. I don't think you do anything out of spite. And I just like that we're getting to do something fun and get to hang out and get to have all these people come and hang out with us that aren't, we're not making them want to go jump out of a window. So that's good.
No, I will never give you any sort of investing advice. For all of you who are there watching us on the replay, for those of you in the chat that are here, I must thank you very much personally for Flady coming in and being a guest and entertaining us for an hour and 40 minutes and giving us your insights. It was a lot of fun. We will be doing more and more guest streams as time goes on, and I do like the idea of Discord chats or Gilded chats, either of which work very well for me. We will let you guys know when the watch party is, and that will be coming up on, I believe, Sunday of this coming week. It'll probably be about 3:00 Sunday Central Standard Time.
Yep.
All right. I will talk to you all later. Thank you, Janet, for being with us. Thank you, everybody, for being here, and we will see you soon.
Bye, everyone.